Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Big Daddy by Margot Scott. Narrated by E.M. Wild and Lou Banks. Chapter 1. Ben. Electropop music and the clinking of dumbbells fills my ears as I step through the entryway into Gold Standard Fitness. Most of the time, I barely register the ever-present scent of sweat that permeates the large space. But I've been traveling the past few days. It'll take at least a few hours for my nose to acclimate. Technically, I've got no good reason to be at work tonight, but I wanted to get a few reps in before heading home. I've had a lot on my mind lately, and working out usually helps me clear my head. Even if I'm running on fumes, I know from experience it's better to power through here at the gym rather than toss and turn in bed all night long. I waved to Moody, our general manager at the front desk, then head on back without bothering to scan my card or sign in. Being able to come and go as I please is just one of the perks of owning the place. Well, co-owning the place. With any luck, my business partner has already gone home. I'm trying to keep a low profile, keeping my head down and my steps quiet, since I don't really want to talk to anyone before I get a chance to unwind on the machines. Benjamin Gold, what the hell are you doing here? Damn. So close. I glance longingly at the weight rack before turning to face my co-owner's disapproving gaze. Just here to work out, Barb, I say. Even though I'm almost a foot taller than Barbie, her presence looms over me. I've never figured out how she's able to make herself seem so much bigger than she actually is. It must be an older sister thing. Work out my ass. Barbie raises an eyebrow at me. Her blonde hair is styled perfectly, and her makeup looks pristine, though she's probably done at least 2 hours of cardio today. She gives me a light punch on the arm. You're supposed to be in Chattanooga. I came back early. Then you're supposed to be taking the weekend off to relax. I happen to find working out to be highly relaxing. Now I know you don't expect me to buy that. Her mouth tilts into a frown. I take it the showing didn't go well? Not so much. That's the third showing in 2 months, she says with a sigh. For the past few years, my sister and I have been tossing around the idea of opening a second location. We've had a major uptick in revenue, and with the boom in new memberships, now seems like the perfect time to expand. Well, it would be the perfect time if we could find a fucking second location. Did you at least have a nice trip? She asks. The traffic wasn't too bad this time, and the hotel breakfast was decent. I jerk my head in the direction of our offices, figuring we might as well sit down if we're going to continue this conversation. Barbie follows me, shutting the door behind her and then taking a seat in the chair opposite my desk. All right, she says. Lay it on me. What was wrong with this one? It would be quicker to list what wasn't wrong with it. I grumble. Not only did the listing conveniently choose not to disclose the extensive water damage in the basement, it left out the best part, which was the family of squirrels living in the walls. Barbie drops her forehead to her hands and groans loudly. She gives herself about 10 seconds of moping before picking her head up with a look of newfound determination. Okay, she claps her hands. This is okay. Remember what Mom always said. Don't push it. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. She's clearly grasping at straws to find a positive in this situation, but even I can't fault her for trying to stay optimistic. Maybe this is a sign that we should take a break from scouting for a while and wait for some more locations to pop up. Fine by me, I say, barely suppressing a yawn. I sit down in my office chair. I could use a break from traveling so I could focus more here. I've been meaning to call Jonathan about doing some electrical work in the locker rooms. Barb's face softens. Ben, you could use a break from work in general. Look at you. You're bone tired. You know it's okay to take a day off every once in a while. You've been working too hard. Even you need rest. I shake my head. I'm fine, Barb. I just didn't sleep great last night. That's funny how you think I'm asking you. No, little brother. I'm telling you to take the night off. Go home, go to a bar, flirt with someone cute. Whatever you need to do to relax, do it, or else you'll just burn yourself out. I I rise from my chair, using all 6'5" of my frame to assert myself. She might be my big sister, but I'm a grown-ass man. Barb, I appreciate your concern, I really do. But we're not 10 and 11 anymore. I know how to take care of myself. She scoffs, as if at 41 years old, I somehow don't know how to take care of myself. Keep telling yourself that, but we both know who's going to have to cover for you when you work yourself into the ground. Guilt gnaws at my stomach. I know she's just trying to look after me, the way she has since we were kids. I reach for a peace offering. How have things been around here this week? Barbie squints at me, her expression softening as she accepts the olive branch. Things are good. Numbers are up, and the online ads we've been running seems to be working. Oh, I almost forgot. The new yoga instructor starts this evening. Right, I reply, vaguely recalling an earlier conversation about hiring a new yoga instructor. I met up with her right before you came in. She's young, probably around Crystal's age, but she seems excited to get to work. My niece, Crystal, Barbie's daughter, is in her junior year of college. I nod like I'm interested in this new employee, trying to keep up Barbie's good spirits after my earlier brush-off. She's very polite. My sister continues. I think she'll fit right in. Good, I say, still passively listening. She might still be here. You could probably catch her and introduce... Barbie interrupts herself with widened eyes. Wait, no, I didn't mean that. You're supposed to be going home. Great idea, I say, heading for the door before she can backtrack. I should introduce myself. I am her boss, after all. Benjamin Gold, you get back here, Barbie calls after me. I let the door click shut, cutting her off. I step out into the main area of the gym and sigh. I love my sister to death, but she's like a dog with a bone. She's convinced herself that my drive for success has made me into a workaholic. Sure, I work a lot. I also work out a lot. Frankly, the fact that my two main priorities can coexist under the same roof sounds like a win-win to me. I know Barbie would like to see me settle down with a wife and kids, but I've yet to meet a woman who stirred my passions enough to make me pivot away from my passion for work. All in all, I've lived decently enough for over 40 years. I'm sure I'll live decently enough for another 40, whether or not I ever settle down. A wave in my peripheral drags me from my thoughts. I turn and see our manager, Moody, at the entrance to the newly renovated yoga studio, trying to catch my attention. The old man has a wide smile on his face, but that's not surprising. Regulars at the gym have affectionately dubbed him our jacked Santa Claus, on account of his jovial personality and snow-white beard. Have you met Big Ben? Moody says to someone standing just inside the studio. He's the other co-owner here at Gold Standard. I make my way over to the old man. Come on, Moody. You can just introduce me as... Words fail me as the young woman he's talking to sidesteps into the doorway. She's over a foot shorter than me, placing her eye level at my chest. Her gaze lifts and lifts until her large hazel eyes meet mine. Her wavy red hair rests on her shoulders and cascades down her back. I've never seen such a beautiful hair color before, and I have to consciously stop myself from reaching out and pinching a lock between my fingers. I clear my throat and offer my hand. You can just call me Ben. She bites her full bottom lip before taking my hand and slowly shaking it. Her hand is small and soft and warm in my own. I can't help but think about how right her palm feels against mine. Nice to meet you, Ben. I'm Skylar, she says with a voice as clear and lovely as wind chimes. Her throat shifts as she swallows, and for some reason, that shift ignites a small flame in my gut. My gaze travels down to the swell of her breasts, pressed up against her low-cut tank top. I note the slight pinch of her waist and the beautiful full flare of her hips. Her tight yoga pants wrap perfectly around strong, thick thighs. My mouth goes dry. I snap my gaze back up to hers, praying she didn't notice the inappropriate way I just sized up her body. The pink in her cheeks suggests otherwise. Sky just started today, Moody says, saving me from having to form my own words. I can already tell she's going to be a great addition to the Gold Standard family. Right. I clear my throat. Barb said the same thing, so it must be true. I realize I've been shaking Skylar's hand for far longer than is necessary. When she draws her hand away, my own feels colder than it did before. Thank you, Skylar says, tucking a few wayward strands of hair behind her ear. I'm looking forward to getting started. Let's get you set up then, Moody says. He cups his palm around his mouth and stage whispers, but first, I'll show you where we keep the good protein bars. Skylar giggles at his joke, and I feel my brain short-circuit. I don't think I've ever heard such an intoxicating sound, sweetness mixed with amusement. A husky laugh escapes my chest, surprising all three of us. I turn it into a cough. It was nice meeting you, Skylar. I start to move away from them. She looks up at me with those big doe eyes, her expression so open and curious that I have to look away. I've got some work to finish up. Moody calls out a goodbye as I head for the locker rooms, and even though Skylar doesn't say anything, I swear I can feel her stare warming my back. I pause at the entrance to the men's locker room, chancing a glance back towards Skylar. The genuine smile on her face makes my chest clench. I'm so distracted by her beauty that I almost miss the guy eye-fucking her ass from a nearby bench as she passes him. For some reason, the sight of this random shithead watching her makes my hands curl into tight fists. Every muscle in my body burns to march over there and tell him to keep his slimy eyes to himself. Who does this asshole think he is? He can't look at her like that. She's mine. I pull the brakes on that train of thought with a shake of my head. What the hell am I thinking? I barely know this girl. I stride into the locker room and sink down on a bench, dropping my face into my hands. What the fuck was that? I mutter to myself. I can't recall ever having had that strong of a reaction to a woman I've only just met. Shaking Skylar's hand was like touching a live wire, a shock to my whole system. I feel charged, keyed up, restless in a way I've never felt before. I can't explain it, just like I can't explain the throb in my chest, the inexplicable need to go back out there and drag her into my office so I can pelt her with questions. Who is she? Where did she come from? How is it possible that a girl I've just met can send a hot streak of possession through my veins? Simply knowing another man was checking her out makes me want to lay claim to her. I shake my head. Regardless of the how or the why, one thing's for certain. My thoughts and feelings towards Skylar are ridiculously inappropriate. Never mind the fact that she's my niece's age, young enough to be my daughter. I'm her boss. I shouldn't be thinking about my employee in ways that make my pants tighten and my head light. I shouldn't be wondering what expression she'd make if I dragged her into one of the showers, pressed her up against the tile, and slid my hand down the front of her tight pants. Would she be loud? Would she thrash around, begging me to make her come? Or would she whimper, pressing her own hand to her lips as I sink my thick fingers into her pussy at an agonizingly slow pace? Fuck. Shaking my head again, I vow to work out twice as hard tonight to clear these thoughts from my mind. I can only hope that once my mind has quieted, the throbbing in my dick will fade as well.
Chapter 2. Skylar. Professor Jameson pushes his glasses toward the bridge of his nose. That's it for today. Have a good weekend, and remember there will be a quiz on the reading. Half the students in class immediately stand up, like flipping a switch. However, since community nutrition was my last class for the day, I take my time shutting down my laptop and packing away my notes. I think about what I want to make for dinner tonight as I walk out the door. I have leftover whole wheat penne with homemade marinara sauce in the fridge. But tonight I'm craving something lemony. Maybe a chicken salad over mixed greens. My shoulder bumps into someone as I'm trying to recall whether I have any lemons in my fridge. "Excuse me," I say. "No, my bad," the other person replies. I turn at the sound of a familiar feminine voice, and sure enough, it's my ex-friend, Crystal. Her blue eyes widen before she quickly averts her gaze, letting her dark blonde hair create a curtain between us. "How about you watch where you're going next time?" says another familiar voice. "Or is the hallway not big enough for you?" Nate, Crystal's garbage human boyfriend, glares down at me, his thin upper lip raised in contempt. "Nate, let's just go," Crystal murmurs, lightly pressing into his side to urge him along. I don't say anything as I meet his disdainful stare with one of my own. He scoffs in my direction before walking away with Crystal, wrapping his arm around her waist and pressing her against him. Her steps falter at the movement, but she doesn't pull away. My fingers tighten on the straps of my backpack as I watch them go. Even though I only had a second to look at her face, I can tell that Crystal doesn't look good. Her once bright eyes seem to have lost their sparkle, and her cheekbones look more prominent than I remember. Even her clothes seem to hang a bit loosely on her. Not that form-fitting attire was ever her style. Some of the tension leaches from my body as they round the corner. I haven't seen either of them in a while. Not since the night Nate utterly destroyed my friendship with Crystal. I figured things would be awkward the next time we ran into each other, but I didn't realize how nerve-wracking it would be to see Crystal again. Crystal and I met 2 years ago when we were both freshmen in our Intro to Nutrition class. We were sitting next to each other, and she leaned over as soon as the lecture started and nervously asked if I had an extra pen. She was so anxious for the first day of classes that she'd left her pencil case in her dorm room. I gave her my spare pen, and we became fast friends after that, first pairing up for group projects and then getting together outside of class. We signed up to be roommates our sophomore year, cementing our friendship even further. She helped me stay on task during midterms and finals, and I encouraged her to step out of her comfort zone at least once a month. But then Crystal started dating Nate. Everything seemed fine at first. Crystal was smitten, and from the stories she told me, he seemed like a nice guy. She'd come home from their dates with a big smile on her face, looking so darn happy. I was happy for her. And then I actually met the guy, and my opinion of him made a swift U-turn. I couldn't understand how someone as sweet and thoughtful as Crystal would fall for a sleazeball like Nate Whitney. There's no denying that he's hot, if you're into stereotypical frat boys. But his good looks take a back seat to his horrible personality the second he opens his mouth. The first thing he ever said to me was, "You're Crystal's best friend?" When I asked what he meant by that, he elaborated, "I mean, I guess every hot girl needs a less hot friend to stand next to." Of course, he waited until Crystal was out of earshot to say that last part, and I was so taken aback by his flagrant douchebaggery that I couldn't drum up a cleverer response than, "Go fuck yourself, frat boy." He smirked and replied, "That's what I have Crystal for," and I threw up in my mouth a little. To be clear, I couldn't care less that Nate didn't find me attractive, and I'll be the first to point out that Crystal is adorable. She's like a sugar plum fairy brought to life, slim and graceful, though she insists she's average-looking at best. A younger version of me might have been jealous of her fast metabolism and small frame, but I've spent years learning to love my body the way it is. I've worked through enough of my own self-doubt and insecurity to where I can say I'm beautiful because of my curvy hips and soft stomach, not in spite of them. Needless to say, Nate's attempt to body shame me had me seething. When I told Crystal what her boyfriend had said to me, she balked with genuine horror. "I'm sure he didn't mean it that way," she insisted. He sometimes says things without thinking. I'm so sorry, Sky. Crystal's apology was the only one I ever received. Though I couldn't stand the guy, I agreed to give him another chance for Crystal's sake. I learned quickly that Nate's lack of a filter extended far beyond fat-shaming. He had an insult for everyone who didn't meet his arbitrary standards, and Crystal, in all her beauty, wasn't spared his criticism. If anything, she bore the brunt of it in the form of subtle digs and snide remarks about her food and clothing choices. Whenever I tried to bring up Nate's behavior, she'd change the subject. We argued constantly. Our friendship suffered. Then it all came to a head at one of Nate's frat parties. I can still recall the thumping music and the taste of cheap beer on my tongue. But rather than allow myself to get lost in the memory of that night, I sigh and continue down the hallway, heading for my apartment off campus. Not many juniors are lucky enough to have their own apartment so close to campus. I certainly wouldn't call myself lucky, considering the only reason I can afford the rent is on account of my inheritance. My dad passed away last year, leaving a massive hole in my heart that no amount of money could ever fill. As soon as I'm through the door, I drop my keys on the nearby table and glance around at the tasteful furnishings, the view of the park through the large windows. It's a nice apartment by anyone's standards, and it's even nicer not having to worry about paying rent. But having my own place is hardly worth the loss of the most important person in my life. Wow, Sky, can you think of any more depressing topics today? I say to my empty apartment. Before my dad passed, I would have called myself an optimist. But on days like today, it feels like an uphill battle just to smile. My dad wouldn't want me to let his loss derail my plans for the future. So I keep pushing myself in his memory, keep going to class, keep trying new recipes that I think he'd enjoy. It's the same with my new job. I enjoy teaching yoga, but mostly I just want the distraction of having somewhere to be, where there are people counting on me. I realized too late that the gold in Gold Standard Fitness referred to the owner's surname. Crystal's full last name is Goldfaber, but she went by Crystal Faber more often than not for the sake of convenience. She mentioned her family's gym a few times in passing, but it's not like we ever visited the place, and I've only spoken to her mother a couple of times. Part of me wonders if I should quit and look for another position at a different gym, but honestly, I like the vibe at Gold Standard Fitness. The yoga studio is bright and airy, and the manager, Moody, is like the jolly, bodybuilding grandpa I never had. I've only worked one shift, but I can already tell I'm going to like it there. And then there's Ben. My cheeks heat up as I picture his handsome face and the intensity in his stare. The way his dark, hard-set eyes slowly drag down my body set off fireworks between my legs. Even thinking about it now makes my inner muscles throb with arousal. He's just so big. At least a foot taller than me, with biceps so big they test the stitching of his t-shirt. I doubt my fingertips would touch if I wrapped both of my hands around one of his arms. I wonder if he's big in other places, too. Tall guys usually are, right? I might be a virgin, but I know my way around a search engine. Stop it, Sky, I scold myself, striding into my bedroom to change into a blue tank top and black yoga pants. I shouldn't be thinking this way about my boss. He's old enough to be my dad, and he's related to Crystal. I certainly don't need any additional complications in my life right now. Still, I can't deny the way my body reacts to his presence. Even now, my thighs can't help but squeeze together as I recall how small my hand felt when he shook it. I'm not a small person. If anything, I'm used to being the biggest girl in a room. I've never been called dainty, and the closest I've come to feeling graceful is when I'm performing a challenging yoga pose. But standing in front of Ben, I felt almost delicate, like a porcelain teacup placed on a high shelf, reserved only for special occasions. Pulling on my gym shoes, I catch a glimpse of myself in the full-length mirror. Although nothing has changed about my appearance, something about my reflection is different. Special. That's how I feel. How Ben's attention makes me feel. I leave my apartment with a spring in my step, feeling more like my old upbeat self than I have in a while.
Chapter 3. Ben. My finger taps on the front desk as a group of members wanders by, their words and faces a blur. I can't bring myself to focus on them. My attention is solely on Skylar. I watch her through the open doorway to the yoga studio. She's chatting with a brown-haired girl around her age while packing up her gym bag. The urge to move closer, to find out what they're saying, burns like hunger. It feels wrong to fight it, but I have to keep my distance. Otherwise, she's going to think I'm obsessed with her. And you know what? She'd be right. The other girl heads out, and Skylar waves goodbye to her with a radiant smile. She zips up her bag, then pulls out her scrunchie, allowing her auburn waves to spill down her back. My whole body tenses as she runs her fingers through her hair, tugging gently at a few knots. She tilts her head, exposing the length of her neck and causing her dark blue shirt to lift slightly. All I can think about is how badly I want to glide my tongue across that sliver of bared skin. I know her cheeks are flushed from teaching yoga, but I can't help imagining all the other scenarios that might cause her to work up a sweat. How would she react if I marched over to her right now, grabbed onto her hips, and ran my tongue up the side of her throat? Would she gasp or moan, calling attention to everyone within earshot? God damn it, I mutter under my breath, ripping my gaze from Skylar's body. Last night I told myself I wasn't going to let my physical attraction to my employee get the better of me, but the desire surging through my veins has only grown more potent in the hours since she showed up for work. I'm not used to feeling like a slave to my own impulses. That's not who I am. I'm driven, but I'm also regimented. I don't pander to short-term gratification. And yet, my instincts are telling me to cross every line in the HR rulebook to make her mine. I'm supposed to be finishing up paperwork in the office, but I needed to see her. So I'm loitering around the front desk, hoping to share a few words with her once she comes out of the studio. I just want to hear her voice again. When Skylar finally walks by the front desk, my brain blanks, and the only thing I can think to say is, "How's it going?" As far as opening lines go, it's fucking weak. But it does the trick. She stops and turns toward me, her hazel gaze flitting to mine, and then darting away again. "Hi, Ben," she says with an easy smile. "I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?" Can't complain. After having spent the last 24 hours thinking about nothing but Skylar, you'd think I'd have an easier time coming up with things to say. "That's good." She nods and fidgets with the strap on her bag. "Well, I'm heading out now. Have a good night." She starts to walk away, and a surge of panic wells up in my chest. The few pleasantries we've exchanged haven't begun to satisfy my craving for her. I can't let her leave like this. "Wait," I say, a little louder than I intended. "I'm leaving too. I'll, walk you out." "Oh." She blinks, surprised. "Okay, sure. Just give me 1 sec." I dash back to my office to grab my keys and my jacket, then lock up for the night. Moody's white brow arches as I jog past him for the second time. "Do my eyes deceive me, or is Ben Gold leaving work early?" Moody asks. I grumble something about wanting an early start tomorrow. The old man looks at me like I've just sprouted horns. I rejoin Skylar at the front desk and then walk with her to the main entrance. "Wow," she says, pausing in the vestibule. "It's really coming down out there. I hadn't even noticed it was pouring outside. For the last hour and a half, all my focus has been on the gorgeous young woman beside me." She sighs. If I'd known it was going to pour, I would have brought my umbrella. I immediately slip off my jacket and drape it over her shoulders. Her already pink cheeks deepen in color. Oh, no, I didn't mean. I insist. I keep my hands on her shoulders, not letting her shrug the jacket off. You'll catch a cold in this weather. I don't want you to miss work. She bites her bottom lip like she's holding herself back from saying something. Thank you, she says softly, pulling the jacket tightly around her. The simple act of offering her some form of protection and her accepting it fills my chest with a sense of pride and something warmer. Affection. I clear my throat. Where's your car parked? Actually, I don't have a car. I walked from my apartment. I glance between the rain pooling on the pavement outside and Skylar's lightweight gym shoes. There's no way I'm letting her walk home in the dark, let alone in this weather. My truck's over there, I say, nodding to where my black pickup's parked in the lot. I'll drive you home. She opens her mouth like she means to argue. I give her a stern look. Driving you home will be a lot less work than worrying about whether you made it home safe. Her lips twitch. She gives a sigh of defeat and then relents. Fine, but only because my apartment's not far from here. I crack the door open and unlock my truck using the key fob, then look to Skylar. Ready to run? I ask. Skylar nods. Let's get wet. She bursts out of the building like a bullet, while I'm still trying to decide whether I heard her correctly. I race after her through the rain. She reaches my truck a few seconds before I do and jumps inside. I round to the driver's side door and slide into the seat, shutting the door quickly to keep the rain out. That was intense, Skylar says, breathless. She frowns at my sodden t-shirt. God, you're drenched. I feel bad for taking your jacket. It's nothing. I lift the hem of my t-shirt and wipe the rain from my face, showing her just how few fucks I give about the state of my clothes. Her gaze lingers on my abs and then darts away. I know better than to read into her interest, but I like the thought of her appreciating my physique. I appreciate Skylar's body very much. My pulse ratchets as her scent fills the cab, and I resist the urge to lean closer. I ask where she lives. She replies with the name of a familiar apartment complex about a mile up the road. I back out of the parking space and then head out of the lot. After a stretch of quiet, punctuated by the soundtrack of the rain hitting the roof, I decide I want to hear her voice more than I want to play the role of her indifferent boss. How are you liking the job? I ask, then add, you can be brutally honest. This isn't an employee satisfaction survey. Skylar chuckles. It's been great. All the members I've met have been really nice, even though I'm younger than most of them. If anyone gives you a hard time, let me know and I'll set them straight. Thanks, she says, and I hear the smile in her voice. I'm just happy that I can help people relax for a while. She pauses for a second before continuing. My dad worked a really stressful job as a defense attorney. It ended up messing with his health. What does he do now? He passed away a little over a year ago. Heart attack. My chest aches for her loss. I'm very sorry to hear that. I figure if I can help someone carve out a moment of peace in their hectic day, maybe it'll do their heart some good. That's admirable, Skylar. I'm sure your dad would be proud of you. Her lips curve in a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. Thanks, Ben. With only another minute or so left before we reach Skylar's apartment building, I opt for a lighter topic. Moody mentioned that you're a food major at your school. Nutrition sciences, actually. But you can call me a food major, since that's pretty much what I focus on. My dad and I used to cook together all the time. It was our way of hanging out after a long day. She teases her fingers through the ends of her damp hair. After being told by doctors that I needed to lose weight my whole life, I decided to learn more about the nutrition behind the foods I eat. Turns out, it's a lot more complicated than most people think. How so? I ask. Well, for starters, people's metabolisms vary, and underlying conditions can make you more or less likely to put on weight in certain areas. Demonizing specific nutrients in favor of others isn't helpful across the board. Your body needs a little bit of everything to be healthy, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you all that. I mean, look at you. Stopped at the red light, I glance in her direction, brow cocked. What about me? She bites her lip. You look like someone who knows exactly what his body needs, down to the last gram. Heat and desire flood my veins as I watch her top teeth scrape over her bottom lip. In the literal sense, she's absolutely right. I'm as disciplined when it comes to my diet as I am about the other aspects of my life, down to the last gram of protein. But if you asked what my body needs most right now, the answer wouldn't be chicken breast. It would be the redhead seated beside me with a glint of mischief in her hazel eyes. The car behind us honks, alerting me to the fresh green light. I death grip the steering wheel, resisting the urge to trace my thumb across her curved lip as we continue through the intersection. I keep a close watch on my macros. I say, it helps that I eat the same thing every day. Seriously? But doesn't that get boring after a while? Not really. As far as I'm concerned, food is workout fuel. Keeping the menu simple means I don't have to think about it. So you never eat for pleasure? I shake my head. Not unless you count an obligatory slice of birthday cake every year. I don't. She scoffs, shaking her head. I can't imagine approaching food that way. To me, savoring a meal is just as important as eating healthy. You can't quantify the benefits the same way you add up calories, but health isn't just about fitness. It's about happiness, too. You don't think I can be happy eating chicken breast and kale salad for dinner every night? I think you can be happy in spite of all that. But answer me honestly, when was the last time you looked forward to sitting down to dinner? I turn onto her street, more than a little in awe of Skylar's passion for her field of study. I'm tempted to miss the next turn into her complex just to give us an excuse to keep driving and talking. Can't say I remember. I tell her honestly. She frowns in my peripheral vision. What? That's so sad, Ben. I snicker. No need to feel sorry for me, sweetheart. I'll be fine with my baked chicken and protein shakes. Wait a sec, I say as a realization floats to the front of my mind. Nutrition sciences. I'm pretty sure that's my niece's major. Maybe you've met her in one of your classes. Crystal Faber? Skylar's posture stiffens. She doesn't respond right away. Yeah, I have met Crystal, she says, then points to a driveway coming up on the left. Turn in here. I make the turn into the parking lot and wait for her to elaborate, but she doesn't. She directs me to a line of empty spaces in front of a side door leading into a 5-story apartment building. She pulls her keys from her bag, unbuckles her seatbelt, then turns toward me. Thanks again for the ride. I really appreciate it. No problem, I say, my voice like gravel. She's so fucking close, I can see the rain droplets that have yet to dry on her forehead. My head swims with the scent of her light, sweet perfume, and I inhale deeply. I'm not thinking when I reach up to slide a damp curl of her hair from her face. The gesture is intimate, not something a boss should ever think to do for their employee. But I can't help myself, not when her eyes are practically begging me to touch her. Maybe you're right, I say. Her throat shifts as she gulps. About what? Maybe I could use more pleasure in my life. She smooths her lips together, reminding me how badly I want to kiss her. Her eyelids flutter closed as I glide my knuckle down her cheek. Her skin glows in the light from the dashboard, impossibly soft and supple. I'm not someone who gets cravings, yet here I am, craving her like she's a scoop of butter pecan ice cream on a hot summer's day. But I don't give in to cravings. I pull away. You should go inside, I say stiffly. Oh, right. She crushes her bag to her chest, clearly hurt by my rejection. Good night, Ben. Without giving me a chance to reply, she jumps out of the truck and races through the rain to the complex door. I watch her fumble with her keys. As soon as she makes it through the main door, I look at my hand, the one I brushed her face with. I shouldn't have touched her, but God, what I wouldn't give to feel her skin again. I press my fingers to my mouth, trying to transfer the feeling of her soft cheek to my lips. My imagination takes off running. I imagine how her skin would feel against my lips as I kissed her cheek, her neck, her chest. I would push up her sports bra and worship her breasts before moving down her stomach, caressing every part of her with my mouth until I reached her waistband. Then I would slowly peel those down too. I don't realize I'm rubbing myself until my cock throbs beneath my hand, but I can't stop. I'm too caught up in the vivid fantasy of Skylar's body. I lean back and let myself get lost in my thoughts, feeling my shoulders relax and my arousal continue to spike. A light knock on my car window jolts me back to reality. My pulse sprints. Skylar stands beside my car, holding an umbrella to shield herself from the rain. Thankfully, she's too short to see into the truck, so she can't know that I was just touching myself to the memory of her skin. I lower the window. "What is it, Skylar?" "I forgot to give this back to you," she says, handing me my jacket. "Thank you for letting me borrow it." The outside of the jacket is damp, but the interior is still warm from laying against her body. I know it smells like her. I want to press the fabric to my face, but that'll have to wait until she's not looking right at me. "You're welcome," I say with a nod. She bites her lip, drawing my attention back to her plush, pink mouth. If I didn't know better, I think she was hoping for a goodnight kiss. I'm about to say fuck it and just pull her into my truck so I can feel her lips against mine, but she steps away. "Good night," she says quickly before rushing back inside the complex. I bring the jacket up to my face and take a deep breath. Skylar's natural scent invades my lungs and my cock throbs in my pants. I back out of the parking space and head toward my own apartment. Most nights I work late, and if I'm not working late, I look for bullshit ways to fill my time until I crash into bed. Not tonight. Tonight, I know exactly how I'm going to spend the next few hours, and it involves the jacket on my lap and the throbbing problem underneath it.
Chapter 4. Skylar. The rich scent of fresh coffee wafts around me as I sit down at my usual table in the corner of my favorite cafe on campus, the Tea Nook. I place my large iced coffee and breakfast sandwich on the table before pulling out my laptop. As I wait for it to boot up, I take a large bite of my egg and cheese sandwich and hold back a moan. It's the first thing I've had to eat today, so it tastes like absolute heaven. I log on to my web host's dashboard and pull up the draft of my latest blog post. I started a blog a little under 2 years ago, and even though it's not viral by any means, I post consistently enough to attract a small but dedicated readership. I mostly focus on body-positive photos and concepts, different ways to help my small following break through their own biases and mental barriers. A few months ago, I started occasionally posting nude photos of myself doing yoga. Nothing too scandalous, and I never show my face in any of them. It was an idea I'd been toying around with for a while, a radical step toward getting over my own personal body hang-ups. I decided to pull the trigger after a reader left a heartbreaking comment on one of my posts saying she felt too big to do yoga. I wanted to show her that yoga can be versatile and beneficial, no matter your size or range of motion. I firmly believe that everyone should feel comfortable in their own skin, especially while working out. So I stripped off my clothes and snapped a few photos of myself in beginner poses. I wanted to show the world that curvy girls deserve representation in the exercise world too. The results were better than I could have predicted. My dedicated followers told me how happy they were to see someone who looks like them be at ease while exercising. I picked up more readers over the following months, many of whom shared their experiences of attending their first yoga classes in the comments. What's been most affirming is the level of support my readers have shown to each other. It's a beautiful thing to witness. I read and respond to a few new comments on old posts before uploading a picture I took during my workout this morning. It's a photo of me in the downward-facing dog position, with my long hair covering my face and the sunlight shimmering on my skin. Today will be the 3rd day in a row that I've posted a nude photo. Normally, I only post 1 or 2 a month, but I've been feeling myself more than usual lately. Ever since Ben drove me home a few days ago, I've felt confident and desirable in a way that no one has ever made me feel before. The intensity in his gaze when I returned his jacket has been seared into my brain. Whenever I think about those heavy, hooded eyes tracing my facial features, my internal temperature rises, and I feel my panties dampen. And although it was totally inappropriate, I couldn't resist touching myself to the thought of his hands and mouth on my body. I ran back to my apartment, soaked in more ways than one. My skin felt extra sensitive as I peeled off the wet layers of clothing and drew myself a bath. I tried to ignore the ache in my pussy. I promise I really did. But as I basked in the warm water, I couldn't stop my hand from gingerly brushing down my stomach to rest between my thighs. I imagined Ben's fingertips rubbing my clit, his thick fingers pumping inside me. When I brought my other hand up to caress my chest, I pictured his mouth closing around my breast and his tongue teasing my hardened nipples. Ben's body would feel so good pressed against me. I just know it. I imagined his hips slotting between my thighs as he rocked into me, the rasp in his voice as he told me how good I felt around him. I've never had penetrative sex with another person, but I've used toys. I couldn't stop my hips from bucking in the bathtub, spilling water over the edge. Afterward, I told myself that was the only time I was going to masturbate while fantasizing about my boss. That was a lie. The next morning, my hand slid into my sleep shorts unbidden as I laid in bed. Shifting onto my stomach, I saw Ben in my mind's eye, his usually serious features softened by a smirk. I imagined him grabbing onto my hips and shoving his cock into me, hard and fast. I started panting within minutes, and I came just like I'd come the day before, hard, with Ben's name on my lips. It doesn't matter how many times I scold myself or promise myself that I won't think about Ben that way. I can't stop. Maybe it wouldn't be such a big deal if I only saw him occasionally, but I work with this man. In fact, I'm pretty much guaranteed to see him tonight, since I have a class to teach. I don't know what I'll do when I see him. Part of me desperately wants to talk to him again so I can bask in his attention like a cat napping in the sun. But another part of me wants to avoid him at all costs, knowing how strongly my body will react to his presence. Simply thinking about Ben makes my pulse race and my pussy throb. What's going to happen when he's standing in front of me? Even now, as I sip on my coffee, I have to cross my legs to relieve some of the pressure my thoughts have built up. I sigh and prop my head on my hand. I'm so totally fucked, and I know it. Turning back to my laptop, I type the caption, "You deserve to feel beautiful every morning," beneath my most recent nude yoga photo, and then publish the post to my blog. I'm just about done with my breakfast sandwich when a familiar sparkly bag catches my eye. The person holding it shifts it higher on her shoulder, and I confirm that it is, in fact, Crystal waiting in line to order. She has her head down, her gaze aimed at her phone. And, of course, Nate is with her. He slides his hands into his pockets as our eyes lock. He flashes me a wolfish sneer that sends a chill down my back, then wraps his arm around Crystal's small waist, pulling her against him. The gesture causes her to look up and notice me. Her expression hardens as she turns toward Nate, tucking herself against his chest. My hands ball into fists on the table as anger rises within me. Nate's cruel smirk remains frozen on his face. He stares me down, pressing his lips to the top of Crystal's head before finally turning away to place his order with the barista. I actively work to keep my breathing under control so I don't fly across the cafe and slap him. Nate stares at me with a look of smug triumph on his face, like he's won. Not only has he turned Crystal against me, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's managed to isolate her from her other friends and family. I never see her out with anyone besides Nate anymore. He's taken control of her life, and he has the audacity to throw his personal victory in my face every time I see him. With more force than is necessary, I slam my laptop closed. The chair screeches as I slide back from the table, pack up my things, and storm out of the cafe, purposefully taking the exit farthest from Crystal and Nate. This isn't over, asshole. Someday, Crystal's going to see right through your bullshit. I just hope that day comes sooner rather than later, for her sake.
Chapter 5. Ben. I keep my eyes glued to the clock, counting down the minutes until Skylar's last class lets out. She blew past the front desk on her way in, barely throwing a greeting my way before booking it to the studio. I haven't spoken to her since I dropped her off at her apartment a couple of days ago. With every passing hour, I grow more anxious. It's like there's an itch beneath my skin, and the only way to scratch it is by seeing her again. I have no reason to think she's in danger, but I'm fueled by the need to make sure she's okay. How have her classes been? What did she have for dinner last night? Is she thinking about quitting because her old man boss can't keep his goddamn hands to himself? The questions bounce against my skull day and night. I've tried everything to make them stop. Amping up my workouts didn't turn my brain off like they usually do, and going to bed early had me tossing and turning, trying and failing to ignore my throbbing cock. I'm not proud to admit that I succumbed to my baser urges. Holding my jacket to my nose, I wrapped my hand around my dick and stroked until I came all over my fist. I told myself it was a moment of weakness, not to be repeated. Skylar's so young and seems so innocent. It feels wrong to think about her body against mine, and her soft pink lips stretched around my cock. But the way she looked at me the night I dropped her off, for a second, I thought maybe she wanted it too. I'm so caught up in my thoughts about Skylar that I almost missed the studio door opening and the string of people filing out. I smile politely at everyone, raising my hand in a half wave to some of the regulars. "Have a good night," I say. A few people reply, "You too." Within minutes, the studio is empty, but for the one person I've been struggling not to think about. I stand in the doorway and watch her put away the yoga mats. "Need a hand?" I ask. She whirls around, startled.
"Oh, sure. That'd be great. Thank you."
The door clicks shut behind me as I enter the studio. I avoid meeting her gaze as I help her stack the mats in silence, determined to seem indifferent, yet unable to stop my eyes from traveling over her body. She's got her auburn hair pulled into a high ponytail, accentuating her elegant neck. Her tight forest green tank top and dark purple leggings hug her figure like a glove. I note the absence of panty lines when she bends over, and my brain short-circuits as I realize she's either wearing a very small thong or nothing at all under her pants. She catches me staring and turns her face away, the back of her neck taking on the color of ripe strawberries. I feel almost spellbound as I carry the mats over to the appropriate bins. I stand behind her, close enough to feel her body heat, and still, she doesn't turn around.
"Thanks, Ben,"
she says in a quiet voice.
"I think I've got it from here."
My jaw clenches in frustration. I want her to talk to me with the same level of enthusiasm that she showed the night I brought her home, but it feels like she's dismissing me. "Skylar," I say in a low, commanding tone. I don't know why I say it like that. I just know that I need her full attention. She shivers and then turns around. We're standing close enough that our chests almost touch. If I took half a step forward, I could close the distance between us, pressing my body fully against hers. I could wedge my thigh between her legs and let her rub against it.
"But Ben?"
Her voice trembles. She looks up at me with wide, innocent eyes. My gaze falls to her plump lips, still shiny with leftover lip gloss. Finally, I meet her gaze, and her breathing picks up. I have no idea what I'm doing. My mind and body have felt completely out of control since I met Skylar, and the more time I spend with her, the more I want from her. I thought I could keep my distance, but the longer I ignore my feelings for her, the stronger they grow, like a vine wrapping around my ribcage, holding my heart hostage. None of this is logical or right. Still, I let my hand rise to cup her cheek, skimming my thumb across the petal-soft skin of her bottom lip. Her cheek is so warm against my palm it's almost hot. I stare, transfixed as she parts her lips and licks the pad of my thumb. My cock instantly hardens in my track pants. I groan. I'm gonna kiss you now. Though I didn't ask her permission, I still give her time to move away, to reject what's about to happen if she doesn't want it. I slowly lower my face to hers, stopping when our lips are less than a breath apart. This is it, her last chance to pull away before I lay my claim on her. But she doesn't move. Instead, she tilts her head back and whispers, "Please, Ben." Unable to contain myself any longer, I crush my lips to hers, feeling my entire body light up. Her lips mold perfectly to mine, so soft and sweet it almost makes me dizzy with desire. She opens her mouth to take a breath, and I use the opportunity to kiss her deeper, swallowing up her gasps and whimpers. Her small, trembling hands flatten against my chest. At first, I think she means to push me away, but then her fingers curl around my shirt, pulling me closer. I slide my fingers into her hair and carefully tease her hair tie down her ponytail, freeing her soft auburn locks to fall over her shoulders. I weave my fingers through the strands, gripping them gently, as I angle her head back and kiss her neck. Skylar's heavy breaths and moans are music to my ears, and I want to hear more of them. The music in the workout space is loud enough to drown out any sounds we make in here. Frankly, I don't care that anyone could walk in on us. I need to take her, claim her, and make her mine right this second. I kiss up to her ear and rasp, "I want to touch every part of you."
"Yes."
She sighs the word.
"Oh, please, yes."
I glide my hand down her body, letting my fingers dance across her chest and over her shirt. I cup one of her breasts, and it feels so good in my hand, so full and soft. Skylar pants as I continue my descent. When my fingers tease the exposed skin of her stomach, I feel her tremble against me. Slanting my mouth over hers again, I tease my fingers into her leggings. My dick jumps as I palm the smooth, slick skin of her pussy, and I can't contain my growl. "Fuck, I love being right," I say against her lips. Skylar moans as I sink a single finger into her pussy. She's burning hot and so wet that I can feel her arousal gush onto her leggings with every slow thrust. I brush her clit with my thumb, and her legs buckle. Pulling my hand out of her pants, I catch her and carefully guide her to the ground. She looks positively debauched, with her cheeks glowing like two ripe cherries and her legs sprawled open. I note the distinct wet patch right in the middle of her crotch, and my mouth waters. The red of her hair catches in the artificial light, creating a halo around her head, making her look like some kind of fiery angel. The naked desire in her gaze makes my blood pump faster. I lower myself to the floor beside her. She keeps her hazy eyes on me as I work her leggings down. She didn't have a chance to put on her shoes, so there's nothing to stop me from sliding her pants all the way off. I groan when I see Skylar's pussy for the first time, so smooth and pink that I can't resist gliding my thumb along her slit. Part of me wants to slip my tongue inside her and let her ride my face, but I'm so hard it hurts, and she's obviously wet enough. I need to get my cock inside her. Once that's taken care of, I'll do whatever it takes to make her come all over me. Fuck, you're perfect. I growl. You're so fucking beautiful, Skylar. She wets her smiling lips.
Thank you, Ben.
I work my shorts off with one hand and use the other hand to caress her inner thigh. When I finally get my cock out into the open, she gasps.
You're so big.
Uncertainty flashes across her face as she rises onto her elbows.
Will you fit?
I chuckle and give my thick cock a few slow pumps. She watches, almost entranced, as my hand glides up and down my shaft. Trust me, baby. I'll make it fit. Before she can reply, I slide 2 fingers through her wet folds and then slip them inside her. Skylar's head drops back as she moans. Though it's only 2 fingers, she's incredibly tight. Rather than loosening her up, the presence of my fingers seems to make her tense even further. Skylar, baby, you've got to relax for me. She looks up at me with wide, worried eyes.
I'm sorry. It's just, I don't know. I've never...
She cuts herself off, bites her lip, and turns her head away, like she's embarrassed. My mind finally catches up to my fingers, which I immediately stop thrusting. Gently, I tilt her face back toward me. Skylar, are you a virgin? She hesitates, then nods. I take a deep breath to relax my muscles, feeling like a grade A asshole for charging into this situation, assuming she'd done it all before. Even knowing she's a virgin, my body's ready to pounce, eager to be the first man to slide inside her tight pussy. But I can't let my burning desire overshadow my sense. Not when she so clearly needs my guidance. Do you want me to teach you, baby? I ask, my voice deep and husky. Do you want me to show you how good it can feel to have a cock inside you? Skylar shivers and nods again.
Yes.
I resume pumping my fingers inside her, slowly at first, then with more speed. She bucks her hips to meet my thrusts. That's it, baby. I growl, spreading my fingers. Let Daddy stretch you open. I don't know why I called myself Daddy. I've never referred to myself by that title before. Maybe it was subconscious, some dormant part of me being jolted awake by something in her. You like that, baby? You want me to be your daddy? I ask, fucking her harder with my fingers. She spreads her legs wider.
Yes, Daddy. I want that so much.
Good God, hearing her say that turns me on more than I thought possible. But more than that, I realize the role of daddy is exactly what I want to be for her. I want to be the most important man in her life, the man who protects and cherishes her. And I also really want to feel her come around my cock. I'll be your daddy, Skylar. I'll take good care of you and this gorgeous pussy. How does that sound? I've never been a big talker during sex, but I can't seem to stop the filthy words from falling out of my mouth.
So good. So good, Daddy.
When I finish fucking you with my fingers, I'm going to take your virginity with my cock. Do you want that, baby bird?
Oh, yes, Daddy.
Then be a good girl and beg for it. I growl. She whimpers.
Please fuck me, Daddy. I want you to be my first. I need your fat cock.
Her muscles clench around my fingers. She lets out a strangled moan as I withdraw them from her body. You're definitely ready for me, baby bird, and I don't want you coming on anything but my cock tonight. I stroke my cock with the hand I've been using to finger Skylar's pussy, spreading her wetness up and down my shaft. She follows my movements closely, nodding her head in time with my fist. Spread yourself for me, baby. Show Daddy your pretty pussy. She reaches between her legs to spread her labia open for me. Fuck, I hiss. I've never seen anything more alluring than the red-cheeked girl in front of me. I can't hold back anymore. I line the head of my cock with her entrance and slowly start to push in. My hips want to jut forward, but I keep my actions slow and my pace steady. I don't want to hurt her any more than I have to. One day, I'll take her hard and fast, but tonight, I need to be slow and gentle. After a small eternity, I finally bottom out inside her. Skylar gasps and moans.
Holy shit, Daddy. You're so big.
She places a hand on her lower stomach.
I can feel you all the way up here.
An animalistic sound escapes my throat. I rock my hips back an inch and then glide forward. You feel so good around me, baby bird. So tight and warm. I mean to keep my thrusts slow and controlled, but my hips ache to move faster. Skylar doesn't seem to mind when I pick up the pace, her eyes nearly crossed with bliss. You fit so perfectly around Daddy's cock. It's like you were made for me. Arousal swirls in my lower abdomen, and I feel myself skirting closer and closer to the edge. Are you close, baby bird? I bring my hand to her belly and roll my thumb over her clit. She moans as her legs start to spasm.
Yes, Daddy. I'm so close. Please make me come. Please. Please.
Skylar babbles as her whole body trembles. I rub her stiff little clit until she cries out, shuddering with the force of her orgasm. Her muscles clench and unclench around my dick, pulling me deeper. The feeling of her walls tensing and releasing is too perfect to endure. I spill inside her with a groan, pumping every drop of pleasure my balls can spare into her tight channel. My arms give out. I prop myself up on my elbows to avoid crushing her as we ride out the final echoes of our orgasms. Holy shit, I rasp. That was incredible. You were incredible. She gulps. So are you. I press a kiss to her lips, savoring the warmth of her breath. I could stay docked inside her pussy forever, but the door to the studio isn't locked. We've been lucky so far. Still, I'd rather not press our luck. She makes a soft noise as I pull out of her. I help her don her leggings and then quickly attend to my own shorts. I expect there to be awkwardness between us, but the silence that fills the room is companionable. When she meets my gaze, her lips curve into a nervous smile. So, she says, a little breathless, do you maybe want to come over to my place tonight? I honestly can't recall how long it's been since I went home with a woman. Right now, I want nothing more than to go home with Skylar, to take a hot, steamy shower with her, make her come for Daddy again, and then fall asleep with her in my arms. Baby bird, I'd love to take you home. I return her smile and lean in for another kiss, already addicted to the taste of her lips.
Chapter 6, Skylar. My hands tremble as I unlock my front door. My nerves are buzzing, and I can barely contain the adrenaline swirling inside me. I just had sex with Ben. What's more, I called him Daddy during the illicit act, and now I'm taking him back to my apartment. It's not much, I say, gesturing to inside my relatively small one-bedroom apartment. But welcome to Chez Skylar. Ben's expression is fairly stoic as he walks into my apartment, letting his gaze drag over every inch of my living room and kitchen. I pick at a hangnail as he looks around, feeling even more self-conscious than when he pulled my pants down in the yoga studio. Letting a potential boyfriend into your home, into your safe place, your sanctuary, is a lot more intimate than I thought it was going to be. Not that Ben is my boyfriend, unless he wants to be. I'm not quite sure what we are. I've never called anyone Daddy who wasn't, my dad. This is uncharted territory. Ben doesn't say anything, In fact, he didn't say much on the drive over here, other than responding to my nervous ramblings with one-word answers. He almost seems distracted, like he's trying to puzzle something out in his mind. But there's no mistaking the gleam of appraisal in his eye as he surveys my home. The corner of his mouth ticks up in a way that makes my stomach flutter. Twisting my hands together, I swallow and say, "I'm going to go take a quick shower, but feel free to make yourself at home." Ben's hot, piercing gaze cuts to me, pinning me in place. He looks me up and down, slowly, undressing me with his stare. He sucks air sharply through his nose. "Need some help getting clean, baby bird?" My clit throbs at the huskiness in his baritone voice. "Yes, Daddy, I think I do." I ignore the nervous twitching in my legs and walk toward him. He doesn't look away as I grasp his hand. His hand is much bigger than mine, and it feels so strong and secure wrapped around my palm. When we reach the bathroom, I flip the light on and lead him inside. I turn on the shower faucet and then pivot to face him. "Can you help me get undressed, Daddy?" I ask, lifting the hem of my shirt. Ben hums with approval as I raise my arms overhead. My breath catches as he slowly tugs my shirt up and off. His gaze drops to my zip-up sports bra, and I shiver in anticipation as he runs his fingers over my shoulders, along my collarbones, and then over the swell of my breasts. He unzips my bra, and my breasts spill out. "There's my gorgeous girl," he says with a heated smile. I let my sports bra drop to the floor as my nipples stiffen under Ben's reverent gaze. He cups my breasts with both hands, and the rasp of his broad palms against my sensitive skin makes me whimper. "Jesus, baby." Ben runs a hand down his face. "You're going to be the death of me." With one hand still palming my breast, he surges forward and slams his lips against mine. Though our time together in the gym was wild, it was gentle compared to the way he's kissing me now. It's as if he's unable to contain his need for me. His lips move fervently against my own as his tongue completely dominates my mouth. I've had a handful of amazing kisses in my life, but this kiss blows every one of those out of the water. I feel lightheaded, borderline euphoric, and I want to get even closer to Ben, to chase even more of this intoxicating feeling. I hook my arms around his neck and keen softly into his mouth. Chuckling, he breaks the kiss to ask, "Does my baby bird like that?" I sigh, a wordless, "Uh-huh." He kisses me one last time and then pulls back. "Daddy likes it too. But let's get you in the shower. It's been a long night." Wait. A hot blush creeps up my neck as I guide his hand to the front of my leggings. "I still need your help with these, Daddy. Down here. Please." He cups my pussy through my leggings, applying just enough pressure to make me moan. "Of course, baby. Daddy can help you with that." Finally, he eases my pants down my legs, helping me to balance as he gently teases each foot free from the fabric. His fingers trace the outline of my calves, thighs, and hips as he stands back up. "Okay, baby bird," he says, nodding toward the steaming shower. "Hop on in." "What about you?" My eyebrows knit together, and I'm suddenly worried I've done something wrong. I thought he was going to fuck me again. "Aren't you going to—" Ben brushes a lock of my hair behind my ear. I told you I'm going to take care of you, Skylar. His mouth tilts into a roguish grin as he pulls his shirt off. In there. My mouth waters as I watch him strip. Every part of him is thick. His pumped chest, his corded arms, his muscular legs. And when he sheds his shorts, I'm reminded of how thick the monster is between his legs. His cock seems to get bigger the longer I stare at it, until it's practically tapping his defined abs. You like looking at me, baby bird. His voice rumbles throughout the small bathroom. I nod, unable to tear my gaze away from his throbbing cock. He all but growls, "Good. I like you looking at me too." He stalks toward me and my heart jumps in my chest. I step into the shower and Ben follows me. If I wasn't so turned on, I would laugh at how comical he looks in my small shower stall. He's practically taller than the shower head. He reaches behind me for the bottle of shampoo, then squeezes some into his palm. "Head down, eyes closed," he says, and I do as I'm told. He begins to lather shampoo in my hair, massaging my scalp. "Oh, that feels good," I moan, instantly relaxed. I close the short distance between us, pressing my breasts to his chest. My hands find his cock, but he guides them away. "Let's get your hair washed first, okay, baby bird? I don't want you getting soap in your eyes." The genuine sincerity and concern in his voice makes my lower belly burn and my pussy tighten. "Okay, Daddy," I whisper. I wait patiently as he shampoos and conditions my hair. By the time I'm all rinsed off, I'm throbbing and quivering, my body begging for attention. He froths the bar of soap in his hands and then smooths the lather all over me. Once he deems me clean enough, he grabs my hips and pulls me close, trapping his heavy cock between our bodies. He groans and bucks his hips, thrusting against me. "You've been such a good girl for Daddy. Are you ready for your reward?" "Please," I beg. He turns me around and guides my hands to the shower wall. "Spread your legs a little, baby bird." Pressing a hand to my stomach, he nudges my feet apart and then brings the head of his cock to my entrance. I arch my back in anticipation of his cock filling me. "Deep breath, baby." Ben sheathes himself inside my pussy. I moan as the breath is pushed out of me, and I'm struck by a sense of fullness that's new to me. He cups my breasts with both hands, gently pinching my nipples. I let out a strangled cry as my clit pulses. "Baby bird, you feel so good. Every part of you feels incredible. Your pussy, your tits, your hips." You feel good too, Daddy," I pant as he drags his cock in and out of me, spanking my ass with his hips. He's still playing with my nipples when I feel his warm tongue glide up the side of my neck. I turn my head to give him better access to my throat. His breath rasps in my ear, labored and a little desperate. Knowing I'm capable of making him feel good makes my chest flutter and my inner muscles clench. Ben moans, pressing me firmly against the wall as he thrusts his cock deep inside me. "Your little pussy is so hot and tight, baby bird." He pumps faster, kneading my breast and gripping my hip firmly enough to bruise. I rock back toward him, trying to match his vicious rhythm. "I might be tight, Daddy, but you're also really big." His rhythm stutters. I gasp as his hand slides between my thighs and his fingers find my clit. I'm already teetering on the edge, so when he rolls my clit between his soapy fingers, I immediately come undone, and the waves of pleasure don't stop as Ben continues to move inside me. My orgasm stretches on and on until I can no longer hold myself up. But Ben's strong arms hold me upright long enough for him to come with a low roar. As he spills inside me, he tilts my head back to rest on his shoulder. He keeps us pressed together, his front against my back, skin against skin, for a few minutes. I twitch as his fingertip ghosts over my clit, before he finally pulls away. His deep groan rumbles against my back. I'll never get enough of you, Skylar. And though I've only known this man a week, I already feel the same. Half an hour later, I'm puttering around my kitchen in search of ingredients for something quick and tasty, while Ben watches on with an amused smile. So, he says, what does the dietitian recommend for a late-night snack? I blush as he tucks his hand into the waistband of my shorts. The man's been inside me twice now, but for some reason, my cheeks still catch fire in response to his touch. I was thinking something light, like toast, but I'm not sure what to put on it. Would you prefer sweet or savory? Ben shrugs. Doesn't matter to me. Ah, yes. I'd almost forgotten about your indifference to all things delicious. Not all things delicious. He buries his face in my neck. I shiver at the touch of his lips and the heat of his breath. Do you seriously not care what I spread on your toast? I mean, I'd prefer you didn't smear on something revolting, but so long as it's not spoiled, it's all the same to me. I pretend to clutch a string of pearls at my neck. It's all the same to me? Sir, that is a tragic statement. He chuckles as he starts snooping through my cupboards. Just make whatever you're in the mood for, baby bird. Fine, then I'm going to make you the best avocado toast you've ever had. That won't be hard, since I've only had it once and it was fine. I roll my eyes. You're impossible. Ben sets 2 plates on the counter and then steps around to the bar side to give me room to work. I grab an avocado, a lime, some chili powder, and a loaf of whole wheat bread, laying all of my ingredients on the counter before I fetch a cutting board. Is this the kind of thing you and your dad would make together? He asks. Not really, I say, popping 2 slices of bread into the toaster. This is more like a quick breakfast. If he and I were cooking, it was usually something more elaborate. He watches me mash the avocado in a small bowl. I sprinkle over some salt, squirt in a bit of lime, then add a few dashes of chili powder. When the toast is browned and slightly cooled, I top each slice with some avocado. It needs something else, I say. I recall that I hard-boiled some eggs last night and skipped to the fridge to grab one. Finally, Ben says when I hand him the egg to peel. Something I recognize. Ha ha. I rifle through my cooking utensil drawer for a handheld grater. Just for that, I'm going to make it my mission to make you love food. You really don't have to do that, Sky. Well, I want to. You're clearly capable of taking pleasure in other things. There's no physiological reason you can't take pleasure in food, too. Suppose I can't argue with you there. Ben smiles as he hands the peeled egg back to me, then scoops the shell into his palm to dispose of it in the trash. I grate the egg over the mashed avocado, making sure to get some white and some yellow on both pieces of toast. Ben fills 2 glasses with cold water and brings them to the table as I salt and pepper the egg layer and then plate up our toasts. We sit at my small table in companionable silence, munching our late-night snack. After a few minutes, Ben clears his throat. "So," he says, almost nervously, "we should probably talk about this." "You don't like it?" I bite my lip, knowing full well that he isn't talking about the toast. Ben cocks his brow. "You're lucky you're cute when you're being cheeky." He takes a long drink of water. "I should have asked you this beforehand, but is it all right that I called you Baby Bird?" I can't help smiling at the mention of his pet name for me. "Yes, definitely." I chew on the inside of my cheek. "I feel like I should ask if it's okay that I call you Daddy, but I was the one who said it first." I shrug and nod. Ben chortles. "Sky, nothing has ever made me as happy as hearing you moan the word Daddy for me." A giggle bubbles up from my chest. I clamp my hand over my mouth, feeling slightly embarrassed by my outburst. "What is it?" he asks. "I'm sorry." I stare down at my empty plate. Even though we've been together twice now, and I feel comfortable around you, I'm still kind of nervous. It's like there's a ball of excitement bouncing around in my stomach. Ben lays his hand over mine on the table. "I feel the same way," he says. "But as strange as it is, it feels right, too. Like something's clicked into place." "Exactly." I suppress a yawn. "Sorry, I'm pretty tired." "No need to apologize. It's late. You should get ready for bed. I'll take care of these plates." I'm too exhausted to argue, so I don't. I shuffle into the bathroom to brush my teeth and then practically crash into bed. As I'm dozing between wakefulness and sleep, I feel the bed shift and my blankets being lifted. I feel the press of a warm body against my back and sigh dreamily. Warmth surrounds me, and I snuggle into the source. "Good night, Daddy," I mumble. Before I drift off, I feel his lips brush my shoulder. "Sweet dreams, baby bird."
Chapter 7. Ben. I wake up to a sunlit bedroom in an unfamiliar bed. All at once, the events of the previous night flood my consciousness, and I recall where I am. Skylar's bed, in Skylar's apartment. I almost can't believe it really happened, but my body knows otherwise. I reach out my arm to pull her closer to me, but I'm met with cold, empty space. She must already be awake, probably making breakfast. Something delicious to challenge my limited tastes. I appreciate her efforts, and I'll try anything she makes. I've got to admit, last night's avocado toast was a fresh departure from my usual fare. Who knows? Maybe Skylar's cooking is the jumpstart this old jaded palate needs. I rub the sleep from my eyes and sit up in bed, taking a moment to survey her bedroom. It's small, but tastefully furnished and bright. I wouldn't be surprised if she painted the robin's egg blue walls herself. I throw the sheet off and leave the bedroom in search of my baby bird. I'm in the hallway when a languid sigh beckons my attention to the living room. My feet stop at the threshold as my brain screeches to a halt. A very naked Skylar stands, bent at the waist, with her hands and feet planted on a blue yoga mat. Frozen in place, I drink her in. She's got her hair tied up in a loose bun to keep the long strands out of her eyes. She drops fluidly into a plank pose and then lowers her hips, arching her spine and tilting her head back. Eyes closed in relaxation, her face looks completely at ease. Her breasts shift hypnotically with every move she makes, her nipples hardening into tight pebbles, begging to be tasted. She's literally the most beautiful creature I've ever laid eyes on, and I'm completely entranced. I could stand rooted to this spot and watch her do yoga for hours, days, Centuries. And after that, if I was lucky, maybe she'd let me spend eternity rubbing out her tight knots and sore muscles. But it's not just her physical perfection that I crave. I could spend the rest of my life watching her flit around the kitchen, chopping and dicing and taste testing. I've slept alone more nights than I've shared my bed, but after one night with Skylar, I can't imagine either of us coming home to a cold bed every night again. Not when we could be setting the sheets on fire together. My thoughts sprint through my mind so quickly, I have to consciously pump the brakes to keep them all straight. One thing I know for sure is that I don't want this to be a one-night stand or a casual sexual relationship. All those things I've been putting off in my life, a committed relationship, marriage, hell, maybe even kids. Turns out I want them very much, and I want them with Skylar. The realization that I'm falling in love with her pierces my chest like an arrow. I should have seen it coming. Since the moment we met, falling for Skylar has felt like an inevitability. I just didn't think it would happen this quickly. I want to shout about it from the rooftops, lay my public claim on her so no one else gets any ideas. But I can't shout about it yet. It's way too soon for all that. She'll think I'm nuts. I clear my throat to make my presence known. Good morning, baby bird. Skylar turns mid-pose to greet me with a warm smile. Good morning, Daddy. Heat surges through me, sending a rush of blood to my groin. I'll never get tired of hearing her call me Daddy. Am I interrupting? I ask, stepping into the living room. Not at all. She lifts her arms overhead, raising her breasts in the process. Just doing my morning sun salutations. Would you like to join me? I'd love to, baby, but I may need a little guidance. It's been a while since I actually did any yoga. Lucky for you, I'm a yoga instructor. Come here, we can share the mat so you don't slip on the floor. She steps to one end of the mat and motions for me to stand across from her. I take up the position and she looks me up and down with a sly grin. You know, she says, this will probably be easier with your boxers off. My own lips quirk up. Baby bird, you're just trying to get me naked? Maybe. Yes. Well, I can't fault you for being truthful. She wets her gorgeous lips as I slide my boxers off. A bright blush makes its way up from her chest to her cheeks. Okay, she says breathlessly. Now that you're in proper attire, we can begin. First, we'll bring our hands up just like this. I follow her instructions to the best of my ability, and within a few minutes I can feel my muscles stretching and straining pleasantly. Still, though I make a point to stretch after every workout, my flexibility has nothing on Skylar's elasticity. Holy hell, Sky, I rasp. My calves are gonna hate me after this. Don't push past the point of comfort. It shouldn't hurt. She stretches her arm behind her back. I'll go get us some water and then we can do a few more poses, okay? I grunt my approval and take a seat on the mat. My gaze catches a tripod set up in the corner that I don't recall seeing there last night. Skylar's smartphone has been fitted into the support brackets, with the camera pointed directly at where we were doing yoga just now. When she comes back with 2 glasses of life-saving water, I decide to ask her about it. What's with the phone? I ask, nodding to the tripod. She sees what I'm referring to and blushes. Oh, that's actually for my blog. You have a blog? What do you post? She bites her lip before she answers. I post a lot of body positivity content, and I have the tripod set up because I sometimes like to post pictures of myself doing yoga. Regular yoga or naked yoga? Both. She meets my gaze and holds it. Does that bother you? No. I'll admit, I'm more than a little surprised by the revelation, but I'm not bothered. If anything, the thought of other people appreciating Skylar's beauty fills me with a sense of satisfaction, and more than a little pride. Yes, my baby girl is sexy as fuck. Thanks for noticing. Now fuck off. I try not to show my face in the nude photos in case they get stolen from the blog. Her expression falters for a split second, but she recovers quickly. I won't lie, getting likes and comments is a nice ego boost, but mostly I just like to show my readers that anyone can do yoga, no matter their size. Was that ever really in question? For a lot of people, yeah, it is. It can be intimidating to walk into a gym or a yoga studio as a larger person. There's a lot of shame and stigma to wade through. Like, why bother trying to take care of your body when society tells you you're worthless and disgusting? She gestures down to her naked form. I want my readers to feel beautiful and confident in their own skin, so I show them mine. That's amazing, Skylar. You're amazing, I say, and she beams up at me. I cup her cheek in my hand, letting my thumb drag across her lips. You know I can't get enough of your gorgeous curves, but I have to say, your confidence is incredibly sexy too. I feel her throat work against my hand as she swallows. Would you like to take a picture with me? You mean for your blog? I ask, tilting my head. She nods, and a predatory grin spreads on my lips. Knowing that countless strangers will see the two of us together, skin to skin, sets my blood on fire. Just one look, and they'll see that I'm the man in her life. And while they're appreciating her body from afar, I'm the one who gets to touch her. Then absolutely, baby. Skylar jumps to her feet and pads over to her phone. After fiddling with the settings for a minute, she sets it back into place and returns to the mat. So, for what I have in mind, let's have you on the bottom and I'll be on the top. A throb of desire shoots through my body at the thought of Skylar on top of me. Just tell me what to do, baby bird. I'll follow your lead. She drops to her knees, sits back on her heels, and places her forehead to the mat with her arms out in front of her. You'll be just like this, in child's pose. She lifts her head to flash me a smile, and I feel my heart melt at the childlike excitement on her face. I think I can manage that. I nod. She stands and I take her spot, trying my best to copy her movements. I inhale deeply and settle into the position, feeling a nice stretch in my lower back. Perfect, she says. Stay just like that. I'm going to rest over you now. I feel her warm skin pour onto mine as she drapes herself over my back. She's completely stretched out on top of me, with our backs pressed together and her head carefully resting on the back of my skull. She brings her hands over her head and rests the back of her hands on top of mine. She takes a deep breath in and then exhales. The timer should go off soon. Just keep breathing deeply and let your body continue to slide into the stretch. After almost a full minute of relaxing into the pose, Skylar rolls off me onto the floor. I miss the weight of her the instant she's gone. I was able to hold myself together so she could get her picture, but now... My phone definitely should have snapped something by now, she says. Before she can crawl away, I grab her around the middle and flip her so she's beneath me. Hold on, baby bird. She gasps as I lower my lips to hers and slide my tongue into her mouth. I've been aching to get my hands and mouth on her since I found her this morning, and I can't hold back another second. I need her, all of her. When I finally break the kiss, her lips are red and swollen, and all I can think about is how badly I want to make her other lips blush. Can Daddy taste you, baby bird? I rasp.
Oh, God.
She whines softly.
Yes, please, Daddy. Taste me.
I kiss down her chin, her neck, her sternum. I pause to worship her beautiful breasts, caressing them with my mouth and dragging my tongue across her nipples. She moans as I continue my journey down her body, pressing wet kisses across her soft skin until I reach her smooth mound. My mouth hovers over her lower lips, and by the way she twitches under me, I know my breath is hitting her just right. Has anyone ever licked your little pussy, baby bird? She shakes her head no, and a thrill ripples from the top of my spine to the head of my dick at the thought of claiming yet another one of her firsts. I rub reassuring circles into her hips with my thumbs and say, I'm going to eat your pretty pussy, Skylar, and I'm not going to stop until you come on my tongue. Do you understand? She shivers and nods.
I understand, Daddy.
I lick up her slit, and her entire body arches. She releases a gasp as her legs try to close, trapping my head between her thighs.
Sorry,
she whispers.
That felt really good.
Don't be sorry, baby girl. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. After a few more long, slow licks, I gently spread her labia and take in the luscious view with a groan. Skylar emits a choked cry as I slip my tongue inside her, drawing her weeping pussy closer to my mouth. I pump my tongue in and out of her a few times, savoring her taste, before moving up to the pearl in her folds. I start by giving her clit a few light licks with my tongue. Skylar moans, reaching down to rest her hand on the back of my head.
Oh God, Daddy, that feels so good. Please do that again.
You like the way Daddy licks your pussy? I lap at her clit until she's panting, then purse my lips and gently suck. She bucks toward my face.
Yes, it feels wonderful. Please don't stop.
I groan at the desperation in her voice, alternating between licking and sucking on her clit. Her hips refuse to stay still on their own, so I pin them to the mat. She seems to like being restrained as much as I enjoy holding her down. A short time later, I feel her clit pulse against my tongue, and I know she's getting close. I want to push her over the edge, so I speed up my tongue and suck a bit harder at her clit.
Daddy,
she babbles, her hand clinging to my short hair.
I'm gonna...
She can't even finish her sentence. Her thighs clamp over my ears as her clit throbs. She pants and whimpers through her orgasm, and I draw out the experience for as long as possible, with slow, languorous licks. When her legs finally fall open, I lift my gaze to look at her face. Her chest heaves as she stares up at the ceiling, looking every bit the satisfied customer. Did that feel good, baby bird? I ask, caressing her soft belly. She grasps my hand and squeezes gently.
Daddy, your mouth felt so good.
I lay down on the floor beside her, watching her chest rise and fall with each labored breath. The fact that I get to see her like this, sated and spent, has me feeling like the light.
Just a short break. Rest your eyes, rest your mind. This audiobook is free. Thank you for watching the video.
Luckiest man alive. Once again, I'm reminded just how easily she made me fall for her by simply being herself. She glances down at my rock-hard cock. What about you, Daddy? I catch her wrist as she reaches for my dick, then guide her hand higher, pressing a kiss to her knuckles. Don't worry about me, baby bird, I say between kissing her fingertips. This morning is all about you. She opens her mouth to protest, but I press a finger to her lips. I promise you can return the favor later today, okay? Daddy's got to leave for work soon, and the longer I wait to take you again, the better it'll feel when I can finally have you. She sighs and nods. Okay, but only because I like hearing you say the word later. I cradle her jaw and kiss her perfect lips. Trust me, baby girl. I'll be thinking about you every second until you're in my arms again. I press one last kiss to her forehead. Do you have class today?
Not till this afternoon.
She scrunches up her features.
Tonight's going to be weird, isn't it?
I stroke her cheek and sigh. As much as it's gonna suck, we should probably keep things professional between us while we're at work. Well, more professional than we played it last night, at least for a little while. She laughs softly.
Yeah, probably.
You are still my boss. Your much older boss. Carefully, I work the hair tie from her bun and tease her auburn locks loose so I can comb my fingers through them. It pains me to know that our time together is about to be put on pause, that I won't be able to pull her into my arms the second she walks through the door to my gym. It'll be tough, I tell her, but we'll make it work. And I promise, Skylar, one day soon, I'll tell everyone that you're mine. That you're mine and I'm yours, forever and always. Her smile lights up her face like a sunrise. I can't wait.
Chapter 8. Skylar. I rise to my feet in the center of my yoga mat and clasp my hands together. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey. I hope to see each of you again soon. My students clap and murmur a hearty reply and begin packing up their things. Turning to my own bag, I dig through my stuff and pull out my phone and a homemade protein bar. I have about 15 minutes until my last class of the night starts, just enough time for a quick snack/energy boost. The delicious flavors of cherries and dark chocolate explode on my tongue as I bite into the protein bar. It's a heavenly combination, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Over the past week, ever since the night Ben and I had sex right here in the studio, I've been bringing him homemade snacks and bagged lunches. I meant everything I said about getting him excited about food. He's still pretty ambivalent toward my veggie sandwich wraps, but he's fallen in love with my dad's recipe for cherry chocolate protein bars, and I can understand why. They're easy to fall for, just like Ben. I know it's too soon to be thinking along those lines, but I try not to make a habit of lying to myself. We've been seeing each other for about a week now, and so far we've managed to keep our budding relationship below Moody and Barbie's radar. From the outside looking in, I don't think anyone can tell that we're more than colleagues, even if Ben does drive me home after every shift. The instant we're out of the parking lot, his hand is on my thigh, and then it's Daddy and Baby Bird until one of us has to leave the next morning. I love having Ben in my tiny apartment, sharing my bed, taking up space, making it feel like more than just a place to house my things while I'm in school. I'm not sure if it's because of the whole daddy thing, but when I'm in Ben's arms, I feel at home. I'll admit, juggling work, school, and this sort of relationship with Ben has distracted me from posting on my blog these past few days. However, the latest photo I posted, the one of Ben and me doing yoga, has received more likes and comments than all of my previous posts combined. My readers are positively smitten with my beefcake yoga buddy. Same, y'all. Hard. Same. Even with the success of the post, I haven't asked Ben to take any more pictures, but I want to. In fact, I haven't been able to stop thinking about the different poses we could try, each one more scandalous than the last. I'm pulled from my salacious daydreams by the sound of the studio door opening. The first handful of students for my next class file into the space, talking and laughing among themselves. "Welcome," I greet them. "Please find a spot anywhere you feel comfortable. We'll begin in just a few minutes." I finish my protein bar as the rest of my students drift in, taking the opportunity to respond to a few comments on my most recent blog post. At the start of the hour, I tuck my phone back into my bag and take a deep breath to center myself. "Okay, everyone," I say, trying to calm some of the chatter. "Thank you all for joining me. My name is Skylar, and I'll be guiding you through our yoga session this evening." I'm in the middle of my intro when a straggler slips through the door, and my thoughts stumble over themselves. What the fuck is Nate Whitney doing in my yoga class? I gulp hard, fighting to minimize the shock seeping into my tone. As I was saying, this is a beginner's class, and each of the poses can be modified to suit any fitness level. My gaze trails him around the perimeter of the studio as he grabs a mat and settles into the back row, like he's done this a million times. But I've never seen him in this gym, let alone the yoga studio. I have no idea why he's here, but from the way he's smirking at me, without a trace of surprise on his smug face, I'm willing to bet he's not here to balance his chakras. As flustered as I am on the inside, this is still my job. I have a responsibility to the rest of my students to make this a positive experience for everyone. With a fortifying breath, I push on, leaning hard into my script and the muscle memory of having run through these poses 1,000 times. We're going to start on the floor with our legs crossed and our hands on our knees. I sit down on my mat to model the position. Focus on keeping your back straight and your shoulders back. With each breath you take, feel your chest open, centering you here in this moment. After a quick breathing exercise that does little to calm my own racing thoughts, I direct everyone to stretch their legs out in front of them and their arms overhead. Remember, you want to feel a slight stretch, but it shouldn't hurt. If something hurts, ease up on the stretch or take a break, and then jump back in with a modified position. I'll be demonstrating modified versions of certain poses as we go along. I continue leading the class as though Nate isn't here, though I can practically feel the chill from his cold stare as I move around the room, helping people adjust their posture. After a brief balancing workout and some sun salutations, I guide everyone into table pose, on hands and knees, and spend a few minutes focusing on back stretches. I end the class in Shavasana, with everyone lying prone on their mats, relaxing. Everyone except Nate, who braces himself on his elbows, eyes trained on me. That's the end of our time together, I say quickly, not a second later than I must. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. I immediately start packing up my bag, figuring I'll head to the bathroom and hide out in there long enough for Nate to get bored and leave. While the rest of the group rises from their mats looking thoroughly refreshed, Nate takes his sweet time gathering up his things. As I shoulder my bag, a shadow falls over me. "That was quite the lesson, Skylar," Nate says. "Wasn't nearly as difficult as my regular workout, but not everyone has the stamina for that level of intensity." I clench my jaw and suppress the urge to roll my eyes. Nate might be a shithead, but he's also a customer. I should at least try to be professional. "Thanks, Nate," I respond flatly. "Glad you enjoyed it. Now, if you'll excuse me..." I start to walk past him, eager to end the conversation before it starts. "You forgot a pose, though." Reluctantly, I stop halfway to the exit. "Oh, yeah? What pose is that?" "The one where you get naked and lie on top of some guy. I was looking forward to trying that one." I freeze in place as Nate's thin lips curve into a sneer. "What the hell are you talking about?" I mutter in a low voice, looking around to make sure no one else heard us. The only way Nate could possibly know about that photo is if he's been following my blog. "Oh, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about." He steps closer to me. Every inch of my body is screaming at me to recoil, but I stand my ground. "Come on, Skylar. If you needed a volunteer, all you had to do was ask." My skin prickles as Nate's gaze trespasses down my body. I ball my hands into fists. The first time Crystal's douchebag boyfriend tried hitting on me, I got whiplash. My mind couldn't reconcile the terrible things he said to me with his desire to cheat on his girlfriend with her fat friend. I thought he was fucking with me. Then I realized he really did want to fuck me. He just didn't want to own his attraction to girls like me in public. What the hell is wrong with you? I snap. Professionalism be damned. I told you before, I have zero interest in sharing so much as an appetizer with you. Are you so thick-headed that you don't remember the last time I turned you down? He has the gall to look annoyed, as if I should be honored that someone conventionally attractive would deign to leer in my direction. I remember you being a frigid, cock-teasing bitch. Is there a problem here? Relief floods me at the sound of Ben's barking voice. He strides over to us with his arms tensed and his mouth set in a hard, intimidating line. No problem here, Nate says, giving Ben a once-over. We were just talking about the class. Class is over, so you can take off now. Ben crosses his arms over his chest in a way that accentuates his large biceps. I'd be happy to escort you out if you've forgotten the way. Nate looks like he wants to argue, but Ben's tone leaves no room for debate. Thanks for the workout, Skylar, Nate says, flashing me one last smirk. He exits the studio with his head bowed and his hands tucked inside his pockets. Ben watches him go and then continues staring at the closed door, probably to make sure Nate doesn't intend to slip back into the room. What the hell was that about? Ben asks. My jaw aches from clenching my teeth. Nothing, I say quickly. Just a guy from school. I hike my bag higher onto my shoulder and turn to leave. I don't want Ben to see how much Nate's presence in class affected me. I've been dealing with assholes like him my whole life, and if I've learned anything from my experiences dealing with them, it's that they don't deserve so much as a second thought. Sky, wait. Ben cups my chin, urging me to meet his troubled gaze. Baby bird. That didn't seem like nothing. My resolve melts at his touch and the warmth in his voice. Not here, I whisper. I follow Ben to his office. He closes the door behind us, then takes my bag from me and motions for me to sit in his office chair. I'm genuinely surprised when he takes a knee on the floor in front of me instead of grabbing a chair for himself. He grasps both my hands, squeezing gently. Tell Daddy what happened. I swallow to loosen my throat muscles. That was Crystal's boyfriend, Nate. He showed up late to my class after I'd already started teaching. I think he was trying to rile me up. Ben exhales sharply, but the fingers caressing the backs of my palms remain gentle. Why would he want to do that? I told you I know Crystal, but that's not the whole story. Tears flood my eyes as I realize the actual reason behind my reluctance to tell Ben how my friendship with Crystal ended. I'm afraid he won't believe me. After telling him how Crystal and I came to be friends and roommates, how Crystal and Nate met, and what an awful person he turned out to be, I finally reached the part I've been dreading. We were at a frat party, I say. Crystal and I were both drunk. She went outside to get some air, and I went upstairs to use the bathroom. When I opened the door, Nate was waiting for me. He put his hands on my hips, said I was looking hot tonight, and tried to kiss me. I shoved him off and said I was going to tell Crystal what he'd done. He called me a frigid bitch and a fat slut. You know, super creative stuff. I roll my eyes, trying to play it off like having a guy scream in your face when you're wasted and alone isn't fucking terrifying on every level. Ben's grip tightens around my hands as his throat works to swallow. "What happened after that?" he asks, his jaw flexing at the corners. "I got away from him and went downstairs to look for Crystal, but I was still really drunk. Someone told me she'd left with Nate, so I decided to text her. That's when I realized I'd lost my phone." I feel my nose start to run and glance around for a tissue. Ben grabs the box as if reading my mind and slides it closer to me. "How'd you get home?" Ben asks. "I ended up crashing on a friend's couch. When I finally caught up with Crystal the next day at her dorm, she blew up at me, accusing me of trying to hook up with her boyfriend. I tried to tell her that Nate was the one who came on to me, but she pulled out her phone and showed me screenshots of gross text messages that had been sent from my phone to Nate's the night before. I knew then that he must have stolen my phone, but she didn't believe me. That's the worst part in all of this. I was her friend, and she believed him over me." Ben sighs heavily as a storm of emotion rolls across his handsome face. I can tell he's fighting to keep his cool for my sake, to be the steady rock I need. He pulls me down off the chair and cradles me in his arms. "I'm so sorry you had to go through that, Skylar." His chest rumbles under my cheek. "If he comes in here again, I want you to come find me. I don't care if you're in the middle of a class or if he's all the way across the room minding his own business. You come and get me. Understood?" I nod. "Thank you for believing me, Daddy." "Of course, baby. I'll always believe you." For some reason, his words prompt more tears to flow down my cheeks. "Shh," he whispers. "It's okay, sweetheart. Daddy's got you." "But," he asked about the picture of us on my blog. "What if he recognizes you and tells Crystal that we're together? What will we do then?" His hand stills. "Nate's been looking at your blog?" That's what he said before you walked into the studio. Ben's body goes taut against mine, like he's barely holding himself back from tearing off into the night to go hunt Nate down. "We'll deal with it," Ben says. "But until that happens, I don't want you to worry about it." He rubs my back in silence until I'm no longer sobbing, then says, "Baby bird, would you like to come to Chattanooga with me this weekend? I have to scope out a potential location for a new gym, and I'd love to have you there with me." "Really?" I say, gazing up at him. The thought of leaving our everyday lives behind and going somewhere we can actually be a couple, out in the open, makes my stomach flutter. "Yes, really." He cups my cheek in his big, warm hand. "I think you, of all people, could use a mini vacation to help take your mind off things." Something warm blossoms in my chest when Ben smiles down at me. "I'd love to go away with you, Daddy." He presses a feather-like kiss to the crown of my head. I know, in a minute, I'll have to let go of him. In a minute, we'll have to return to the real world, the one where he's my boss and I'm a member of his staff. We'll have to pretend like we don't care for each other the way that we do. We'll have to go back to being Skylar and Ben. But that's in a minute. Right now, we get to be Daddy and Baby Bird. And I'm going to cling to that for as long as I can.
Chapter 9. Ben. The setting sun washes Skylar's face with an orange glow as we exit the commercial building we've just toured.
Thanks for driving all the way out here, folks.
The realtor, Ronnie, tips his cowboy hat and hands me a crisp white business card with his name and number.
If you think of any other questions or if you want me to put a bid in, don't hesitate to give me a call.
I nod to him. We appreciate you showing us around.
My pleasure,
he says.
Do y'all need a ride back to your hotel or anything?
No, we're good, I say, taking Skylar's hand in mine. Thanks for the offer, though. Ronnie nods and then heads off, leaving Skylar and me by ourselves in the heart of downtown Chattanooga. As soon as the realtor is out of sight, Skylar turns to me, a brilliant smile gracing her pink lips.
So, what did you think of the place?
She asks. I begin leading her down the sidewalk toward a line of shops and restaurants that are quickly filling up with the weekend dinner crowds. I think it's got potential. I rub my thumb on the back of her hand. It's amazing to be able to hold her hand out in the open like this. Back at the gym, I'd have to worry about whether I was standing too close to her or watching her too intently. But here, we're just two small fish in a sea of strangers. The ease with which we've been able to act like a normal couple is making me greedy. It's making me want to do these sorts of things back home, too. But I know we can't, at least not right now. So I focus on how lucky I feel to be able to kiss her right here on this sidewalk, leaning down and pressing my lips against her smiling ones.
What made you do that, Daddy?
She asks with a soft chuckle. The simple fact that I could. Skylar's grin lights up her whole face.
The space is certainly big enough,
she says, returning to the topic at hand.
The second floor looks like it could be broken up into at least 3 large studios, and the location is perfect for drawing foot traffic.
My chest swells with love for the girl at my side. Listening to her talk about the future, like she's invested in the outcome, makes me want to cradle her face and tell her how badly I want her to be part of mine. She's already changed my life in the short amount of time we've known each other. But the thought of moving too fast and scaring her off still terrifies me. So I settle for squeezing her hand and we continue down the sidewalk. You're right, I tell her. This is definitely the best location out of all the ones I've looked at. Great parking, too. We weave through a throng of people waiting outside a small trendy bistro. Skylar pauses to read the menu posted in the window.
This place seems cool, she says. Want to eat here for dinner?
It does look good, but I actually already have something else in mind. She gapes at me, eyes wide with exaggerated shock.
What? Mister, I only eat food as fuel, already researched places to eat in the area.
I laugh and gently tug her arm so we can resume our stroll. Yes, Miss Food should always be delicious. Even I can take an interest in dinner when the situation calls for it. She bounces on the balls of her feet.
Well, where are we going?
It's a surprise.
Uh-oh, should I be nervous?
Depends on whether or not you trust me. She nudges my arm with her shoulder, then goes quiet for a moment. When she speaks again, her tone is both soft and serious.
I trust you, Daddy.
Are your eyes still closed? I steal a glance at Skylar, who's practically vibrating with excitement in the passenger seat of my truck.
Yes, they are.
She giggles, shaking her head, clearly finding the whole concept of me surprising her for dinner amusing. I pull into the parking lot of a fairly nondescript beige building and turn into a parking space. Okay, I say, cutting the engine. We're here.
Does that mean I can open my eyes now?
Nope. I unbuckle my seatbelt and do the same for her. Gotta keep them closed till we're inside. Skylar pouts, tempting me to bite at her plump bottom lip, but otherwise she keeps her eyes firmly closed.
But how will I be able to walk inside?
I won't let you fall, baby bird. I get out and jog to the other side of my truck to open the passenger door. She gasps as I trace my fingers from her shoulder down to her fingertips. I squeeze her hand. I've got you, Sky. Take it slow. I help her down onto the pavement. She turns her head left and then right, as if she's trying to gauge our position using the power of echolocation alone. Any guesses as to where we are? I ask, trying to hold in my chuckles. Her chin falls to her chest in defeat. No, you'll see soon enough, I promise.
Laying my hands on her shoulders, I step behind her, guiding her into the building and making sure she doesn't bump into anything. "Don't make me walk into a wall or something," Skylar mutters. I touch my lips to the shell of her ear and whisper, "Baby bird, I would never do that." She gasps, and I feel her shoulder muscles relax beneath my hands. I love that I can make her shiver with nothing but a few words and a simple touch. "You better not, Daddy," she grumbles, trying to sound threatening and failing miserably. Not that I'd ever tell her that. I guide her into the building, holding the door so she can step through easily, then direct her into an elevator and up 3 floors. We collide with a wall of delicious smells as soon as we step off the elevator. A few more steps down the hall, I open the door leading to Skylar's surprise. "Can I open my eyes now?" Skylar asks, clasping her hands together and beaming with excitement. "Pretty please, with a cherry on top?" This time I can't hold in my laughter. "Yes, Sky, you can look now." She opens her eyes and her jaw drops. For the first time since we met, my baby girl is speechless as her gaze roves over the multiple cooking stations, each one complete with a stove, prepping area, and storage cabinets for cooking supplies. One cooking station stands at the front of the room, visible from all the others, where a handful of people are already clustered, making small talk and presumably waiting for the chef to arrive. "What is this?" Skylar asks, staring at the room in disbelief. I rub the back of my head nervously, hoping I haven't misjudged her level of interest or inadvertently insulted her by signing her up for a class. "It's a cooking class," I tell her. "You told me you and your dad used to cook together all the time, so I thought it'd be fun if we did some cooking together. They offer all kinds of classes here a few nights a week, and tonight the theme is Ethiopian dishes. I've never had Ethiopian food, so I thought it might be interesting to learn. But if you already know the dish, or if you don't like it, we can just..." Skylar cuts off my worried rambling by throwing her arms around my neck and hugging me tightly. "Oh my God, Ben, this is so incredibly thoughtful." She pecks small kisses all over my lips and cheeks. "Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the best surprise ever. I love it so much." Drunk on Skylar's kisses, I can't resist blurting, "I love you." My heart stutters in my chest. Skylar pulls back just enough to meet my gaze. "You do?" "Ah, to hell with it." I touch my forehead to hers. "I love you, Skylar. I've been falling for you since the moment we met. You don't have to respond. I didn't tell you to put you on the spot or anything. I just can't hold back the way I feel about you any longer. I need you to know how important you are to me." She surprises me by rising onto her tiptoes and pulling me in for a deep, passionate kiss. When the two of us finally part, we're both breathless. "Ben, you have no idea how happy that makes me," she says, caressing my cheek. "I love you too. So much it hurts, and I'm just so happy to hear you feel the same way." I slant my lips over hers and she opens to me. Our tongues tangle as my fingers weave into her hair. The world falls away as my love for Skylar rushes through my veins. I can't recall a time when I felt this happy, holding Skylar tight against me in the middle of a classroom. Someone clears their throat behind us. Skylar pulls back with a gasp and spins toward the sound. An older dark-skinned woman smiles patiently at the two of us. "Nice to see a couple that doesn't skimp on the spice," the woman says. "When you're ready, please make your way to the front station and we'll get started." She gestures to the station where the other students have already gathered. "Yes, ma'am, thank you," Skylar says, a crimson blush painting her cheeks. The woman, our instructor, winks at Skylar and then heads to the front of the room. Skylar looks up at me, the red in her cheeks making her eyes shine like gems. "I guess we should stop making out and go join the others." "We will." I grasp her wrist and gently pull her back against my chest. "But first, I want you to know that when we get back to the hotel, I'm going to show you exactly how much I love you, baby bird. I'm going to love you so hard. You're going to need me to bring you breakfast in bed in the morning. That's a promise. And Daddy always keeps his promises, doesn't he?" She captures her bottom lip between her teeth. Yes, Daddy. I plant a final kiss on her cheek. Good girl. Now let's get cooking.
Chapter 10. Skylar. I hum as I unload the dishwasher, drying the excess water droplets with a dish towel and letting my mind wander back to the amazing weekend I spent with Ben. The 2 days we shared in Chattanooga were an absolute dream. I can't help but smile every time I think about how adorably helpless Ben was at the start of the cooking class, intimidated by all the spices and unfamiliar ingredients. The dishes we made together were such a departure from his usual method of sprinkling salt and pepper on some chicken, tossing it in the oven, and calling it done. When we finally sat down to taste our delicious meal, his chest puffed up with pride. He liked it, and I was so happy that he was happy, that he genuinely enjoyed the process. But the best part of the weekend, hands down, was the moment Ben confessed his love for me. As soon as he said it, I knew in my bones that I felt the same way, and it was such a relief to hear him say the words. And now that we've admitted our feelings to each other, it's like our relationship has become 100 times deeper, 1,000 times more intimate. Even the sex is more intense because of it. When Ben moaned the words, "Daddy loves you, baby bird," while burying himself to the hilt inside me, I saw shooting stars. I came harder than I've ever come before, my whole body shuddering with the force of my climax. I whispered my love for him in between moans and whimpers, and I know he felt it because he came soon after, rasping my name into my ear. We've been away from each other for less than a day, but I already miss him like crazy. I can't wait to see him again tonight, and every night thereafter. God, I love him. I love him. I love him. I didn't think it was possible to crave another person this intensely, but I need to see him, need him to wrap his big, strong arms around me. I'm literally counting down the minutes until I can see his face again. A series of swift knocks on my door snaps me out of my thoughts. I set down the plate I've been drying and go answer the door. My heart stops. Crystal stands outside my apartment with her arms crossed and her mouth pinched in anger. "We need to talk," she says tersely. Inevitability, like a bucket of icy water, pours over me. She knows about my blog. I expect to feel mortified, but I don't. What I feel is a bittersweet blend of pity for Crystal and vindication for myself. Surely, if Nate had shown her my blog, she'd have asked him why he was looking at it in the first place. She'd have to at least wonder what made him seek me out. And then maybe she'd start to question his side of things. Right? Crystal, She steps forward, pointing a finger in my face. "I knew you were jealous of what I have with Nate, but this is low, even for you. You need to stop sleeping with my uncle right now, or I'm going to tell everyone what you two have been doing." Her tone is harsh and cutting, and I'm genuinely surprised there isn't steam coming out of her ears. "Seriously?" I hiss back at her, swatting her hand out of my face. "That's what you think this is about? You think I'm so jealous of your life that I'd seduce your uncle just to get a piece of it? That doesn't even make sense." "Well, you've done it before, haven't you?" "No, I haven't. Your boyfriend's full of shit. And while I sympathize with the shock you're feeling, what Ben and I do in private is our business." "So you admit it, then?" I squint, confused. I can't exactly deny the photographic evidence, now can I? What photographic evidence? You guys take pictures? Crystal shudders like she's going to be sick. Obviously, I say. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about, right? Nate showed you the photo, and rather than confront your shitty-ass boyfriend about why he's been following your former friend's blog all these months, you come here to threaten me. That seems to take the wind out of her sails a little bit. She purses her lips, her eyebrows knitting together. Your blog? Crystal appears genuinely confused, which confuses me even more. Sighing, I step back into my apartment and gesture for her to follow me. As much as I love giving my neighbors something to gossip about, can we please continue this conversation behind closed doors? She hesitates for a moment before stepping inside. I take a seat on the couch and motion for her to join me if she wants to. She chooses to stand. I let the silence hang between us like a taut guitar string, trying to ease some of the tension. Let's just back up a second, I sigh, rubbing my forehead. How did you find out about me and Ben? Nate told me, she says, as if that's the obvious answer. And how did he find out about it? He saw you guys kissing at the gym. So, I realize, Nate did recognize Ben's body from the photo. I can't say I'm surprised. Ben's physique is rather distinct. I rack my brain for any recollection of a slip-up at the gym, a moment of weakness when Ben and I couldn't resist each other. But in spite of our all-consuming passion, we've been very good about keeping things professional at the gym. Unless Nate happened to be there the night Ben took my virginity, there's no way he saw us kissing. Crystal, Nate couldn't have seen us kissing at the gym. When she starts to protest, I cut her off with, I know this because I know exactly how Nate found out about us. He found out through my blog. What blog? You keep mentioning this blog like I'm supposed to know what you're talking about. Finally, she sits down on the opposite end of the couch. I know I don't owe her an explanation, but as much as I'd prefer to keep some semblance of my privacy, I want Crystal to know what Nate's been doing behind her back. We may never be able to repair our friendship, but I care about her enough as a person that I don't want to see her get taken advantage of. I have a blog about body positivity. It's not popular or anything, but I like helping people feel comfortable in their own bodies. One of the ways I do this is by posting pictures of myself doing yoga. And I take a deep, fortifying breath. Sometimes I don't wear clothes in these photos. Crystal's eyes widen, but she doesn't say anything, so I continue. A couple of weeks ago, Ben stayed overnight, and the next morning we did yoga and took a photo. I gesture down my body, trying to skirt around having to say, yeah, I took naked yoga photos with your uncle. Her face glows pink, and I know she understands the implication. I posted the photo on my blog, and a few days later, Nate came to one of my yoga classes. He hit on me and told me that he's been looking at my pictures. Ben walked up to us, and I guess Nate recognized his body type. Put two and two together, and, well, I shrug rather than finish the sentence. Here we are, in my living room, pitting my word against Nate's once again. No, Crystal says, shaking her head in disbelief. No, you're lying. Nate wouldn't look at your photos. You're the one that keeps coming on to him. She stands and starts backing away, putting distance between us. "Crystal," I say with a sigh, "I swear to you, I've never, ever hit on Nate. He's the one who keeps harassing me." "That doesn't make sense. You're not his type, and you told me yourself he's never had anything nice to say to you." "Yeah, well, if the gross shit he said to me last week is anything to go by, Nate has at least two types. He wants a thin, pretty girl on his arm and a chubby girl sucking his dick. But he's too narcissistic and proud to admit his attraction to fat girls, so he keeps that a secret. And I, for one, have no interest in being anyone's secret. But isn't that exactly what I am? Ben's dirty little secret? I bury the unnerving question and focus on the conversation at hand. Crystal's eyes glisten as she shakes her head. "Stop it, Skylar. Stop trying to manipulate me." "I'm not trying to manipulate you. That's Nate's thing." I rise and take a step toward her. She recoils like I'm contagious, scrambling back toward the door. "You are," she sobs. "You're trying to break us up because you're jealous of what we have." "I think you know that's not true, Crystal." I upturn my hands to show I have nothing to hide and sit back down on the couch. "And if you have even 1 ounce of doubt in your mind as far as Nate's concerned, you should listen to it. Check his browsing history. I'm positive you'll find my blog in there." For a second, I think I see a flicker of uncertainty in her gaze. But it doesn't last. Crystal shakes her head, rips open the door, and disappears into the hall. I stay rooted to the couch with my head in my hands, torn between wanting to go after her and wanting to scream in exasperation. When I can bring myself to walk again, I close my apartment door and lean my forehead against it, trying to control the storm of emotions whirling inside me. More so now than ever before, I crave the safety and security of Daddy's strong arms around me and his reassuring whispers that everything is going to be all right. Thank God I work tonight.
Chapter 11. Ben. Skylar walks into the gym a full 20 minutes before her shift is supposed to start, looking gorgeous as ever with her hair pulled up high and away from her face. I'm about to greet her with what I hope is a work-appropriate level of enthusiasm when I catch sight of her anxious expression. Immediately, I stop what I'm doing and make my way over to her. "Sky, what's wrong?" I ask in a low voice, trying not to draw attention from the buzzing patrons around us. Her gaze darts to a concerned-looking Moody at the front desk. I nod in the direction of my office. "In there." She nods and follows quietly behind me. It kills me that I can't take her hand in mine and give it a reassuring squeeze. The knots in my stomach grow tighter with each step I take. Seeing Skylar so distraught has me officially on edge, and I desperately want to know what's going on. Once we're inside my office with the door shut behind us, I immediately place my hands on her shoulders. "What's wrong, baby bird?" I gently rub her upper arms in a soothing motion that seems to alleviate some of the tension in her muscles, if not her mind. She bites her bottom lip and shakes her head, tears welling in her eyes. "Come on," I coax, cupping her cheek in my hand. "You know you can tell Daddy anything." Her lips quiver. Crystal stopped by my apartment earlier. She knows. I sigh heavily. I'd hoped we'd have a little more time to strategize about how we wanted to reveal our relationship to my family and the rest of the Gold Standard crew. Well, the fact that Barbie isn't in here chewing me out right now tells us Crystal hasn't said anything to her mom yet. But what if she does? What if she tells everyone? A single tear traces down Skylar's cheek. What happens to us when I'm not your secret anymore? My eyebrows knit together in confusion. Baby, is that what's got you so upset? I don't care if people know. I mean, things will be awkward with Crystal for a while, and Barbie's gonna give me hell, but she'll come around when she sees how happy we make each other. Really? You wouldn't mind if people found out? I stroked my thumb along her cheekbone. Baby bird, I'm living for the day when everyone knows that this beautiful, smart, kind, amazing woman is mine, and I'm hers. Oh, Daddy. She bursts into tears, and I instantly worry I've said something wrong. But then she throws her arms around my neck and hugs me tightly. I know it sounds stupid and insecure, but I was afraid you were secretly embarrassed to be with me. I inhale sharply at the thought of her harboring such painful fears and hug her closer to me. Never, baby bird. Never. You're the most important thing in my world, Skylar. I'm so damn proud to be your daddy. I kiss her tear-streaked face. And don't worry about Crystal. I'll talk to her. See if I can get her off your back, okay? I feel her nod against me before she pulls back to meet my gaze. I know she's your niece and you care about her. I care about her too. But Nate's dug his claws so deep in her, she can't think straight. Don't you worry. I'll have a conversation with her mom about that asshole. I smooth some of the loose strands away from her face. Do you want to take the night off? Rest a little? Skylar shakes her head no and sighs. Honestly, teaching a class would be a great distraction from everything else right now. Speaking of, I should probably head to the studio and start setting up. She stands on her toes and tilts her head back in a silent request for one last kiss. I pull her body flush against mine and oblige her, already counting down the minutes till I can get her alone and remind her how much I adore every single one of my baby girl's curves. We head back out to the main area of the gym. And you need to back the hell up, sir. Moody barks from around the corner. My pulse kicks into overdrive. Level-headed Moody is not one to go off on a customer unprompted. I dash to the front desk to get a look at the difficult customer, and my blood boils. Nate pounds on the desk like an overgrown toddler, his expression twisted with fury. I know she's here, old man, he yells. She's supposed to be teaching a class. Now where the hell is she? I know the moment when Nate notices us because his anger seems to multiply by tenfold. He rounds the desk, barreling past Moody to get to us. This is all your fault, you fat fucking bitch! Nate screams, the veins in his neck protruding. You should have kept your big mouth shut! Barbie gasps, appearing at Skylar's side looking thoroughly appalled. What on earth has gotten into you, Nathan Whitney? Nate ignores my sister, continuing to stalk toward us, or, more accurately, Skylar. She's so shocked, she doesn't even move as he charges toward her. But I do. I step in front of Skylar, letting my large frame shield her from this dipshit's rage. Nate, I say in a low growl, I suggest you turn around and head out on your own two legs while you still can. A flash of fear crosses his face, but he smooths it over quickly with false bravado. Really, Skylar? He snorts, trying to look around me. It's not enough to let your pervert boss fuck you and take pictures of it? Now you're letting him fight your battles too? I see red. Jolting forward, I grasp the front of Nate's shirt in an ironclad grip. You don't talk to her like that, I growl. Ever again. Nate gulps. The only thing that saves his face from becoming lunch meat is the gentle brush of fingers across my wrist. Skylar steps out from behind me wearing a mask of calm. You're right, Nate, Skylar says, her voice almost eerily cool. She exudes the slightest bit of pressure on my wrist and my hand obeys, releasing Nate's shirt from my grasp. I don't need someone else to fight for me when my opponent is as weak and spineless as you are. He splutters. Weak? Weak! And spineless. Don't forget that too. She takes another step forward, and he moves back, glancing between us. Only a weak, spineless asshole like you would treat Crystal the way you have. And only a weak, spineless asshole would stalk my yoga blog because he can't admit he's got a thing for big girls. And only a weak, spineless piece of shit would blame someone else for his girlfriend dumping him. That's what this is about, right? She finally dumped your ass?
Shut up!
Nate yells, but there's no real bite to it.
You have no idea what you're talking about, fat bitch!
Skylar sighs and flips her ponytail over her shoulder. Well, I'd rather be a fat bitch than a pussy. Nate's mouth opens like he's about to say something else, when Skylar surprises everyone by rearing her fist back and pummeling it right into Nate's nose. He howls as his head snaps back, and blood immediately starts flowing down his chin.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Nate screeches like a banshee, but Skylar just shakes out her hand. Now, Skylar says, sounding as confident as ever, I think it's time you left, Nate, and don't ever come back here. Better yet, don't contact anyone associated with this gym. Not me, not Crystal, no one. She shoots him a glare that could burn through brick. Or else I will let my pervert boss fight my battles for me. And I think it's fair to assume he could probably punch a lot harder than me, right? Taking my cue, I step behind Skylar and wrap my arm around her waist. A look of fear flashes across Nate's face once again. Well, at least I think it's fear. It's kind of hard to tell with all the blood smeared over his mouth. He backs away slowly. You're going to regret this, Skylar. You and Crystal both. No, I don't think she will. I growl. When his beady eyes dart toward me, I raise a clenched fist. Now run along before I give you a black eye to match your broken nose. Nate scampers out the door with his tail tucked between his legs like the wounded animal he is. As soon as he's out of sight, Skylar slumps against me. I thought he'd never leave, she mutters, flexing the hand she used to punch him. A slight bruise has already started to form on her knuckles. She touches the tender area with her uninjured hand and hisses. Don't touch it, I tell her. It'll be sore for a few days, but with a little bit of ice and rest, you'll be back to defending the gym in no time. Skylar cracks a small smile. Okay, but don't let any villains take over while I'm out of commission. Can't let all of my hard work go down the drain. Love and pride fill my chest as I smile back at her. Watching my baby girl stand up for herself was the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed. I was ready and willing to fight her battle for her, but I can see now she's more than capable of winning her own wars. So, it's true then. Skylar and I turn to see Barbie, Moody, and a handful of regular gym members staring at us. Barbie continues, You two really are a thing. I meet Skylar's questioning gaze and can't help but smile. I stand up straighter, draping my arm around her shoulders, loving how natural it feels to pull her close in a public place. Yes, Skylar and I are dating. Surprise colors Barbie's features, but the disapproval I expect to see in her gaze isn't there. Well, damn, little brother. And here I thought you were practicing to be a monk. She winks at me and my face heats up. I'd have thought you'd be pretty pissed at me. Why the hell would I be pissed? Barbie asks, looking genuinely confused. I'm the one who's been hassling you to settle down. Skylar's young, but she's a smart cookie and more responsible than a lot of girls her age. I know you wouldn't take advantage, and frankly, with a right hook like that, I don't imagine she'd let you. As long as you two make each other happy, y'all have my blessing. Skylar flashes my sister a gracious smile. Thank you, Barb. You're welcome, sweetheart. Barbie nods to her hand. Now I think it's safe to assume you won't be teaching tonight. Don't worry, I'll make sure everyone knows class is canceled, just as soon as I take care of these looky-loos. She shoots a hard glare at the handful of patrons who are still standing around, watching us like we're putting on community theater. I can send out a text, Skylar says. No ope, Barbie tisks, wagging her finger back and forth. Both of you've done enough here for one night. What y'all need to do is go home, take care of that hand. I can tell she expects me to argue, but all thoughts of sticking around the gym evaporate the second my gaze meets Skylar's. She smiles up at me, her lips the color of ripe strawberries. You're right, Barb, I say. I've got more important things to do tonight. Don't forget to lock up. Barbie scoffs and turns around with a wave. He gets a girlfriend and suddenly he thinks he can sass to me. You two get out of here before I make you scrub the floors. I hustle Skylar out the door and into the darkened night. Her hand feels perfect in mine, just the right size, as we make our way over to my truck. "Wow," she says. "I can't believe we have the whole night ahead of us. Should we make something for dinner or watch a movie? Might be nice to get to bed early tonight, too." "Didn't you hear me, baby bird?" I say, unlocking my truck. "I said I have important things to do tonight." I open the passenger side door and help her inside. I can already feel my cock swelling as she settles into the seat and breathes the word, "Oh."
Chapter 12. Skylar. The instant we make it to my apartment, Ben is on me. His lips latch onto mine, hungry and possessive. I shiver as we stumble down the hall toward my bedroom. "Baby, baby, baby," he chants like a prayer. I lie down on the bed, my skin tingling as he removes my clothes and underwear. "God, baby bird, you're so beautiful," he says, almost reverently. His praise overwhelms me. I whine softly and bury my face in the comforter. Ben shifts above me, and then I feel light kisses trailing down my upper arm. "It's true," he says. "You're beautiful and strong and intelligent." He accentuates each compliment with the press of his lips to my skin. "I love you so much. I'm so glad you're in my life." My cheeks burn as I finally turn to gaze into Ben's eyes. They're hooded and sincere, hitting me with an intense combination of lust and love, stronger than anything I've ever felt before. I stroke the side of his face. "I love you too, Daddy." He lowers his lips to mine. Our mouths slot together, and I moan as his tongue entices mine to dance. His large body hovers over me, our chests barely grazing. The minute movements he unconsciously makes against my nipples cause sparks of arousal to shoot through my body. I pant against his lips. "Touch me, Daddy. Please." Ben makes a sound halfway between a growl and a groan. He kisses a slow trail down my neck and chest before turning his attention to my breasts. I moan as his tongue swirls around my nipple. His mouth closes over my breast, sucking hard. My back arches, and I gasp at the feeling of his hot mouth on one of the most sensitive areas of my skin. But before I can get used to the sensation, he moves to the other nipple, giving it the same treatment. My pussy throbs. I roll my hips, trying to catch some small amount of friction on his pants, his leg, something. My thighs are already slick with my arousal. I rub them together, desperate for relief. "Daddy," I moan, my voice rough and breathless. "Please touch me more. Please, please, please. I can't take it." He releases my nipple with a pop and eyes me with a sly tilt of his lips. "But I am touching you, baby bird." "You know what I mean, Daddy." Ben hums, smoothing both hands down my chest and onto my hips. Goosebumps perk up across my skin in anticipation of what I know is coming. "Do you want Daddy to touch you here?" he asks. I nod my head. He caresses the skin just below my navel, and not an inch lower. "Use your words, baby bird." I'm about ready to burst into flames when I beg, "Yes, Daddy, I want you to touch my pussy, please." I hold my breath as Ben ghosts his fingers along my slit, teasing and torturing me. "My poor baby bird. How can Daddy say no when you're begging so sweetly?" He kisses my cheek as he slides a single finger into my pussy. I arch into his touch. Now, what do you say to Daddy? Thank you, Daddy. I whimper in response to the relief I feel at being penetrated by Ben, even if it is just one finger. He starts to pump the digit in and out of me, while pressing the heel of his palm against my clit. I mewl and moan as he adds a second finger. I make the kinds of noises I would normally be embarrassed by, but not here, and not now. Not when I'm being held so tenderly by my big, strong daddy. Not when he's the one making me feel so good. Pleasure pulses through me like a deep bass beat as Ben finds the sensitive spot below my ear and starts to suck. You did so well today, baby bird. You were so badass and brave. I swear, you find new ways to surprise me every day. Thank you, Daddy. I like surprising you. My legs shake as he grinds harder against my clit. Are you gonna come for me now, baby bird? I feel my head move up and down of its own accord. Yes, Daddy. Good girl. He presses a kiss to my cheek. I want to feel you come all over my hand, baby bird. Don't hold back. As if his words have cast a spell on me, I feel myself speeding closer and closer to the edge. My pussy throbs. I grind my clit against his hand, humping him as he fucks me. I'm so close. There's a dense ball of heat forming in my lower stomach, taking on more and more gravity with each second that passes. Despite me being the one getting worked up, Ben sounds almost out of breath as he pants close to my ear. That's it, baby. I can feel you. Just let go. Fisting the bedsheets, I dive headfirst into my orgasm, weathering wave after wave of pleasure that breaks over me. My pussy clamps around Ben's fingers as he slows his pumping and grinding, providing just enough stimulation for me to ride the current into a slightly weaker, but no less satisfying climax. I love to watch you come, baby bird. I love the sounds you make, and the way your eyes squeeze shut. He withdraws from my pussy and brings his hand up to suck my wetness from his fingers. I watch him savor the taste of me, too speechless to do more than stare. It feels like a small eternity later when my muscles finally relax into a gooey heap on the bed. I don't realize that Ben is still fully dressed until he rises from the bed and starts to take his clothes off. His defined abs contract beautifully as he lifts his shirt overhead. He removes his pants and boxers next, and I can't help but lick my lips as his hard cock springs up. Pre-cum beads at the tip, proof of just how much he enjoys making me cum. Are you ready for Daddy's hard cock, baby bird? He asks, grabbing hold of himself and pumping once, twice. It takes all the remaining strength in my body for me to grasp the backs of my knees and pull my legs up and apart, exposing every inch of my ass and pussy to Ben's hungry gaze. I'm always ready for you, Daddy. Fucking hell, baby. Ben grits out, his cock jumping in his hand. Before I can say anything else, he slowly presses his dick into me. This time, there's no urgency, no immediate bottoming out. He takes it slow and easy, allowing me to feel every inch of his big, fat daddy cock as it stretches my pussy. Even after having had his fingers inside me, I'm still not fully prepared for the size of him. I whine like a siren the whole way in, until his balls finally touch my ass. You wrap around me so perfectly, like you were made for me, baby bird. His voice is rough and a little shaky, like he's holding himself back. I lift my hips, taking his girthy cock even deeper. He gasps. "Show me, Daddy," I beg. "Show me that I was made to be yours." With a broken moan, Ben grasps the backs of my knees and forces my legs even further back. He leans over me to capture my lips, pressing our naked bodies together and hammering his cock into me. I yelp with surprise, and Ben swallows it, plundering my mouth with his tongue. Our moans meld together as if we're one person, one body, one stream of desire. His punishing thrusts slow to a leisurely roll as he pours all his love and adoration into the kiss. I feel his hands glide up and down the backs of my thighs, teasing and squeezing my soft flesh. Normally, I wouldn't be able to come again so quickly, but I'm still so sensitive from my last orgasm. This new, deeper angle has his cock brushing against a spot inside me that makes my toes curl. I cry out in surprise as I crash into my third orgasm, a punchy, hard clenching of my inner muscles. I break the hungry kiss with a gasp, my pussy throbbing around Ben's thick cock. He makes a strangled noise above me, but otherwise doesn't move, just lets me use him to once again draw out my climax for as long as I can. When I finally stop twitching, Ben kisses my chin, my nose, my eyebrows. I sigh with pleasure, soaking up his affection. "Did that feel good for you, baby bird?" I hum. "God, yes, Daddy." "Good." He presses his lips to mine one more time and then pulls out of me, still rock hard. Confused, I ask, "Wait, you didn't finish, Daddy?" "It's okay, baby. Your pussy's taken enough of a beating already. Besides, we have to ice your hand." Before he can finish his sentence, I grasp his shoulders and shove him onto his back. He chuckles as I climb on top of him. "What are you doing, baby bird?" "You always take such good care of me, Daddy. So it's only fair that I take care of you." I hold his cock with my uninjured hand, positioning myself over him, and then sink down. We groan in unison as his cock fills my pussy. I've never been on top before. It feels different, in a good way, being able to see his face so clearly while he's inside me. His eyes grow heavy-lidded with desire as his hands squeeze and massage my thighs. "You look so fucking beautiful up there, baby bird. I love you so much." I smile at him, raise my hips, and then glide back down. He moans, jerking his hips and thrusting up inside me. "I love you too, Daddy." I pepper his face and neck with kisses while I hold him deep inside me. A short while later, his hands find my hips, encouraging them to buck. I moan as he guides me up and down on his impossibly hard length. "Fuck, baby. I love watching your tits bounce." He cups my breasts, gently pinching my nipples as they bounce with every rise and fall of my hips. "Every inch of your body is precious and perfect and mine." "Yes, Daddy," I moan as he fucks me harder, bracing my hand on his chest. "I'm all yours, and you're mine, mine, mine." The words spill out of me as my head spins, caught up in a storm of pleasure. "I am yours, baby bird," he growls, gripping my hips in a way that will probably leave delicious marks tomorrow. "Now and forever." His abdomen tenses the way it always does right before he comes. I start to move faster. "Yes, Daddy, please stay mine, now, and for... oh!" With a final grunt, He slams my hips down, pinning me to his pelvis as his stomach muscles twitch and his cock throbs. Knowing he's coming inside me, that it was my pussy that pushed Ben over the brink, sets off a brilliant 4th of July firework display behind my eyelids. I collapse onto Ben's chest, boneless and immovable. We come down from our orgasms together, trembling in each other's arms as we pet and stroke every stretch of skin we can reach. Ben threads his fingers through my hair, brushing his lips against my forehead. I can't believe we get to do that every day for the rest of our lives, I say quietly. How did I get so lucky? Ben drapes the blanket over us and then wraps his arms around me. Just as I'm teetering on the edge of sleep, Ben whispers, "I'm the lucky one, baby bird." Chapter 13. Skylar. The turkey bacon sizzles in the pan as I crack an egg into a glass bowl. Ben stands behind me, watching me with his chin propped up on his hand. "How are these eggs any different from normal eggs?" he asks for the 3rd time. "Because I'm going to put Gouda in them," I reply. "Cheddar cheese in your eggs is fine, but you have not lived until you've had Gouda scrambled eggs. That is the hill I will die on." "But you can just eat them plain and they taste just fine." I whisk the eggs together and sigh. "You still have a lot of deprogramming to do, Ben." I roll my eyes playfully and turn back to the stove to pour my thoroughly whisked egg mixture onto a hot pan. Ben huffs through his nose before I feel, rather than hear, him walk up behind me. For such a big man, he's surprisingly light on his feet. He places both hands on my hips and hooks his chin over my shoulder, his front flush against my back. "So, now that we're arguing about scrambled eggs, I'm back to Ben, Come on, baby bird. You know I prefer you calling me something else." He whispers the words right at my ear, turning my knees to jelly and my panties into a slip and slide. How I can still be turned on after last night's marathon sex, I'll never know. But Ben has a way of turning me on with just a look, a touch, or a simple "I love you" breathed against my lips. "Really?" I feign ignorance, keeping my attention on the pan. "And what word might that be?" I gasp as his hand slides around to the front of my silk pajama shorts, inching lower. "My baby bird was moaning it all night." He buries his face in my neck. "But I'd be happy to give her a reminder right now." The light scratch of Ben's morning scruff tickles my cheek. I moan softly as I lean back against him. "As much as I'd love that, Daddy, I'd rather not burn your breakfast or burn my apartment down. We may have to keep our pants on until we're done with the stove." "Then you just have to move in with me." I blink twice. Did Ben just ask me to move in with him? Before I can process this casual, not quite invitation, there's a knock at the door.
"Who the hell could that be?"
Ben grunts, his gaze narrowing. "I'm not sure." I hand him the spatula. "I'll go see who it is. The eggs should be done in a second, so make sure they don't burn, please."
"Shouldn't we do this the other way around?"
he asks, but I'm already halfway across the room. I open the door, and the easy smile I've been wearing all morning starts to slip. "Crystal?" I straighten my posture and mentally prepare myself for another blowout argument. "What are you doing here?" "Hey, Sky," she replies, her voice small and nervous. I'm actually here to apologize." I'm not sure whether I heard her correctly. "Apologize?" "Yeah." She takes a deep breath. "Could we talk for a minute?" I eye her cautiously, not used to this calmer, softer version of Crystal. Yeah, sure, we can talk. I open the door wider, and she takes a tentative step inside my apartment just as a yell comes from the kitchen. Eggs and bacon are all done, baby. Fuck. I was so caught off guard by Crystal showing up here that I forgot her uncle was in the kitchen babysitting breakfast. Crystal's face pinkens as she recognizes the voice. If this is a bad time, I can totally come back later. As I open my mouth to respond, Ben pokes his head out of the kitchen, a huge grin on his face. Nothing's burned, so hopefully everything tastes good. His gaze slides past me and his smile falters. Stepping fully into the small foyer, he crosses his arms and regards his niece warily. Good morning, Crystal. She doesn't seem to know where to look. Good morning, Uncle Ben. What brings you here? His tone is firm, but not unkind. I believe Skylar has endured enough of your accusations for quite a while. No. She waves her hands, looking first at Ben and then at me. It's not like that, please. I just want to talk. Ben eyes her dubiously, but I recognize the sincerity in her voice. Okay, I say. Let's talk. I gesture to the couch. Ben excuses himself to my bedroom, softly shutting the door behind him to give us privacy. What did you want to talk about? I take a seat at the far end of the couch and try to ignore the feeling of déjà vu I get when she sits down opposite me. Like I said before, she says, picking at the hem of her skirt, I wanted to apologize. I'm so sorry for the way I treated you, and for how I let Nate treat you, and for not believing you when you told me he was a bad guy. Her lip quivers. I'm so sorry for abandoning our friendship. A fat tear paints a shiny trail down her cheek. So much has passed between us, including time, that I'm not sure how to comfort her anymore. I settle for shifting closer to her and taking her hand in mine. What made you decide to believe me this time? I ask. She wipes the tears from her face with the back of her hand. You were right about me having doubts. I think part of me always knew Nate was an asshole, but I was so happy to have a boyfriend that I didn't let myself see the truth. I'm not like you, Sky. I care too much about what other people think of me. I mean, I'm not completely immune to caring about what people think about me. I'm just used to getting a lot of criticism that I'm better off ignoring if I want to enjoy my life. But you're so confident. I've always admired that about you. And to be honest, I've always been a little jealous of your confidence. She grabs a tissue from the box on the coffee table and wipes her nose. But that doesn't excuse what I did to you. I take a slow breath in and out, trying to center myself. You really hurt me, Crystal. But I know you wouldn't have done those things if it wasn't for Nate. So, while the way you treated me wasn't okay in any way, shape, or form, I'm ready to move past it. I'm ready to forgive you. Really? She sniffles, her lips curving into a hopeful smile. Yes, I tell her. Now, this doesn't mean we're suddenly friends again, but it does mean I'm open to trying to repair our friendship. Her shoulders sag a little, but she nods in understanding. That being said, I nudge her gently with my elbow. I'm really glad you came by today. Me too. She nudges me back in turn. I know it'll take time, but I really want to be friends again, Sky. I've missed you so much. I've missed you too, I say honestly. We have so much to catch up on. Crystal chuckles nervously. You mean like the fact that you're dating my uncle? I rub my forehead and groan. Okay, maybe we don't have to catch up on that. Good. She laughs more earnestly now. Honestly, I'm not sure if I could stomach all of those details. And I will not subject you to them. Her gaze wanders over to my closed bedroom door. Well, speaking of my uncle, I'm sure he's pacing a hole in your floor right now. I'll let you guys enjoy your breakfast. You sure you don't want me to fix you a plate? No, thanks. She rises from the couch and brushes away the last of the tears on her face. I'll come bug you another day. If that's okay with you, I mean. Yeah, I'd like that. I walk her to my apartment door and give her hand a squeeze as we say goodbye. She walks down the hallway, and even from the back, she looks lighter, less burdened than she did when she arrived. I wait until she's fully out of sight before I close the door and lean back against it. Barely a second later, my bedroom door opens and Ben steps out. Everything go okay? He asks. I smile. Yeah, everything's all right. He runs a hand over his stubbled jaw. So, are you two all made up now? Not fully. I push away from the door and move toward him. But I'm confident we'll get there, eventually. Ben opens his arms to me and pulls me close. That's good, he mutters against my forehead. I soak up his warmth and affection, letting all of my worries melt away in his arms. Knowing the walls in my apartment are paper thin, I ask, So, how much of that did you hear? Enough. He pulls back just enough to meet my gaze. You're a kind soul, Skylar Holt. I laugh and shake my head. It's true, he insists. You didn't have to accept Crystal's apology, but you did. Because you have a caring heart. Do I? I tease. Yes, you do. I see it every time I look at you. My ribcage suddenly feels too small for my chest. Can you see what my heart is saying right now? Ben tilts his head. I believe it's saying, you want breakfast. Close. I rise onto my tiptoes and brush my lips against his ear. It's saying, I love you, Daddy. Before he can reply, I jump back from him and dip into the kitchen. Now, I say, rubbing my hands together, let's take a look at this breakfast you completed. I'm still not entirely convinced you didn't burn it. Ben steps up behind me and rests his hands on my hips. Hey, I'll have you know, I learned from the best. I'll be the judge of that. I dip my fork into the pan of eggs and slide a bit of cheesy goodness into my mouth. How is it? Ben asks, looking a little anxious. It's delicious, I moan before spearing another bite and holding it up for Ben to taste. A contemplative look graces his masculine features as he chews and then swallows. He grins. Well, damn. That might be the best damn egg I've ever eaten. I think I'll just have you cook me breakfast every morning from now on. Ben pulls me in for a soft, sensual kiss that makes my pulse break into cartwheels. I'll make you anything your heart desires, baby bird. Gazing into Ben's eyes, I see the love there, clear as glass, and I know, without a doubt, that he means every word.
Epilogue. Ben. 4 years later. The ceramic plates clink together as I load them into the dishwasher. Skylar wanted to help rinse the dishes, but I told her in no uncertain terms that her only job was to keep her feet up. After a delicious dinner of grilled shrimp and fried rice with veggies, I'm looking forward to settling in with my wife for the evening. It's been 4 years since I met Skylar, 2 years since I made her my wife, and every year has been better than the one before it. We recently renovated and moved into a house in Nashville, near the 4th location of Gold Standard Fitness.
Until we hire a regional manager, I'll be in charge of the day-to-day operations here, while Skylar sets up our health and wellness department and serves as the in-house nutrition consultant. She's amazing at her job, not that I ever doubted her. And because her love of yoga remains as strong as ever, she still teaches part-time. She's even convinced me to join her in teaching a couples class every other week. Of course, our schedules will no doubt change dramatically after the baby's born. Skylar's 5 months pregnant and absolutely glowing, growing more beautiful every day. Though she assures me she can handle the physical activity, I won't risk her overworking herself. I know I'm one to talk, but if anything, being with Skylar has helped me shift my priorities to make room for the simple pleasures in life, like spending the evening curled up on the couch with my baby bird. With the baby on the way, Skylar promised me she'd slow down if I slowed down too. So I hired a personal assistant and committed to only working 40 hours a week. To be honest, I'm starting to get the hang of this whole work-life balance thing. Just don't tell Barbie. She'll never let me live it down. Once the plates and silverware are all loaded into the dishwasher, I pack up the leftovers and put them in the fridge. Skylar and I cook together most nights of the week. It's our favorite thing to do together. Well, second favorite. I don't think anything can top the fun we get up to in bed. I dry my hands on a dish towel and brew up a cup of herbal tea, which I carry out to Skylar in the living room where she's lounging on the couch, texting away on her phone. Thank you, Daddy, she says as I set the tea on the coffee table. Who you texting, baby? I take up my usual spot on the sofa with Skylar's feet across my lap. She makes the most amazing noises as I start to knead her ankles. Crystal, she's telling me all about her new boyfriend, Tyler. He seems like a nice guy, and she's excited to introduce him to us next week at the family barbecue. Skylar laughs. She says he has to pass the best friend test before things get too serious. Well, you are a good judge of character. I work my fingers into the swollen bits of her skin. She moans in relief and rubs a hand over her round belly. I try to be. She also called godmother dibs for the baby. I rolled my eyes but kept a playful smile on my face. She'll have to fight her mom on that. Barbie's been vying for that position for months. Skylar tilts her head to the side as a sly grin spreads across her face. Maybe we'll just have to have more babies. That way everyone will be happy. My hands wander up her legs, sliding between her thighs. I massage her soft skin and her legs fall open as she lets her head fall back onto the armrest. I think that's an excellent idea, baby bird. Maybe we should start practicing. You know, just so we don't get rusty. I lift her foot and press an open-mouthed kiss to her ankle. Yes, Daddy, she purrs, her fingers clutching at my shoulder. Let's go practice in the bedroom right now. I lift her into my arms bridal style. She squeals in delight, wrapping her arms around my neck. Daddy, I can walk on my own. I know, baby bird, but I want to carry you. We enter the bedroom where I carefully lay her on the bed with her head propped on the pillow. I kiss down her neck, sucking a spot on her collarbone, before hooking my fingers into the waistband of her pants and gently pulling them down. Skylar gazes down at me, her hazel eyes so full of devotion and admiration. She strokes my cheek and whispers, I love you so much, Daddy. I reach under her shirt to tease her nipples, then glide my hand over her stomach all the way down to her pussy. I love you too, baby bird. She moans as I capture her lips in a kiss that makes me hum with pleasure. I never thought I would find love until I found it in Skylar. Thanks to her enthusiasm and her knack for drawing me out of my comfort zone, I'm finally enjoying my life, not just sprinting through it. And I intend to savor every moment I share with her. This concludes Big Daddy by Margot Scott. Narrated by E.M. Wild and Lou Banks. Copyright 2022 by Margot Scott. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Margot Scott, care of SBR Media, and was produced in the year 2025 by Tantor Media Incorporated, a division of Recorded Books, which holds the copyright thereto. Please visit tantor.com for more information on our growing library of unabridged audiobooks.